There's that.
And on the internet, we streaming, we live.
We should be live here in a second.
It says offline. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's got a picture of us from last week.
Doesn't love us very much.
You can tell because I've got a different hat on.
I don't.
No, you don't.
I am, however, not wearing a flannel on the leather one. The leather one?
The leather one.
In my leather one.
You're wearing the leather one.
In my leather onesie.
You know, I hear that those are squeaky.
I'm gonna go double check, make sure we got good. You said we had good sound. You could hear us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can check anyway.
I mean, we're already here, so. Anyway, welcome back, anybody and everybody who's out there in epic puzzles and games land.
I am Laserdisc, and this is my friend
Twitch.
And
just going with Twitch.
This is the Epic Pugcast.
This is the Epic Pugcast. Welcome to Epic Pugcast, everybody.
Episode 2.
Woo! Episode 2? I think, yeah. I guess this could technically still be episode 1 because
Episode 1 doesn't really exist.
Episode 1 kind of had some faults in our stars.
It was the pilot.
Episode 1 was our pilot episode.
Episode 0.
Can we call it? Yeah, we'll just call it episode 0.
So welcome to episode 1.
Yeah, welcome to the real episode 1, where we're just going to sit here with our arms folded and not really talk about a lot. We're just going to kind of pretend we're doing stuff, assume we're important. We're not.
Last week we both vowed to have subjects to talk about this week. Have you done with your assignment?
I've done pretty good, actually.
Oh, good. Open it up.
All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the Power Rangers trailer.
Oh, yes. Oh, goodness.
I grew up watching Power Rangers, because I remember when the Power Rangers very first aired in America when I was younger, and I remember running upstairs and being like, Emily, I'm the coolest show in the world or something, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, I don't care. I don't even care. But, dude, it looks so freaking cool. Everybody looks so freaking cool. That's really all I have to say about it.
I have a fun story about me when I was a kid in the Power Rangers. So, I was a very excitable young boy. I'm sure you can imagine that. And when I was younger, things such as the Power Rangers or Star Wars had been proven to excite me too much. And so...
Would you elaborate?
I would run around the house pretending to shoot stuff. And this terrified my parents.
I could only imagine.
Terrified them. So
he's gonna grow up and be a terrorist.
So things like that were not allowed, and in particularly Fox Kids was 100% a no. And
at your house, you couldn't even watch Fox Kids.
Yeah, no. If you were caught watching it, no more TV for the rest of the day.
Wow.
Maybe even worse than that for repeat offenses. So Power Rangers was always something I was very interested to watch, but I never knew anything about it because I could only ever watch it when I could work up the balls to break the rules, which wasn't often, if I'm honest. But
if we're being totally honest here,
when I saw the trailer for the Power Rangers movie, I'm not sure if there's multiple out there, but
there's a new one now.
The one I saw was on. I think it was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in the theaters, and
I still want to watch that movie.
For the beginning of this trailer, there was nothing to indicate what it was. It was there are these kind of dorky looking characters that kind of look like they got picked out of a CrossFit training session, and
the kids that weren't doing very good at CrossFit, which is really hard.
It's hard
to be bad.
They find these gemstones, and you're like, oh wow, what's going on? They start getting superpowers, and you're like, this is gonna be kind of an interesting
another Fantastic Four movie
thing, and then everything got out of control near the end of the trailer, and then it showed the Power Rangers logo. I looked to my brother in the theater, and we were like, oh, oh. It's we need to watch this right now. And think the consensus between the two of us is that yes, it's going to be stupid, and no, we're not gonna care.
I might wear my Power. I want to dress up to go watch it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to get like a onesie and go watch it.
Power Rangers pajamas.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a green Power Rangers shirt for Tommy because he's awesome, and I might wear that, except for it's a little bit small on me, so I kind of just look like a fat Power Ranger. Like the shirt I'm wearing, the reason I'm wearing a flannel is because the shirt I'm wearing is only a large, and I wear an extra large.
Oh no!
And so I stretch it out, but like not in the good way. You know how most people stretch out their shirts with muscles? Mine's with jelly. So
yeah, no, you need to stretch it out up here.
Yeah,
not
Not
there.
that so much down here. For you audio only listeners, we're talking about my belly. Just so you're aware.
He's just saying that because he's embarrassed of what we're really talking about.
My booty. No. So in the new trailer, they show a lot more of the Power Rangers. They show them more in their suits, and like the teaser part of the trailer. Because the first trailer, the teaser part of the trailer was Jason kind of standing there in the suit, like crawling up over his body and like forming over him, right? And that was like the teaser. It never really showed him fully in it, but that was just a little spot right there. So in the new one, the teaser is the Megazord.
Oh no!
And it shows Zordon, and he looks cool. He looks completely different, but he looks super cool. But then it shows the teaser for the Megazord just going like, whoa, like punching something, and you're like, what's happening? Like you see all of their individual Zords and stuff like that, and oh my gosh, it looks so freaking cool.
I mostly what I remember from Power Rangers as a kid is different villains. I remember in the one where it was like they were time travelers, there was a villain that was like kind of a bearded, scruffy, like fat, short man with a cape. And he would like hit his kneecap, and a sword would come out of his leg. It was like really weird and gruesome. And then there was another guy that was like, it was like a Nega Power Ranger. Like half of his suit was black and the other half was white. And he was always like playing mind games with him. That's like all I remember from those shows.
Do you remember Rita?
Described visually, because
gosh,
whenever I watched Power Rangers, it was with the volume off because I was breaking the rules.
You could only sit there and oogle. Rita was she was the main hench lady in the original series, and she kind of wore like a big elaborate dress with a big old collar. She was like, "I'll get you, Power Rangers," crap like that.
It's kind of ringing a bell.
I don't remember her like super, but so she was in. Did you ever see the short on YouTube that some guy made?
I did not.
He made this incredible like Power Rangers, like kind of like an R-rated version of Power Rangers, where there's like swearing, there's a ton of blood and guts and gore, and like you watch Jason legitimately just get riddled with bullets in a truck. Like it's just crazy. Like the whole premises of it is Rita's just trying to kill all the Rangers officially, and they've like separated and split up at this time, and it was amazing.
That definitely sounds like a YouTube short.
It was so cool. It was really good. Like it was live action and everything.
Was this a Freddie W sketch?
No. It was.
Are you sure this wasn't a Freddie W sketch?
No, I know it wasn't Freddie Wong because the guy that did it, they tried to sue him. Like,
really?
Fox or whoever it was tried to sue him. Yeah, for copyright, even though they never really say Power Rangers or anything like that. So he ended up being fine. Like they couldn't do anything about it because it was only in similarities. It was very South Parky. None of the people in this film
it was a parody.
Basically,
we were just emulating.
We were
not.
There are no likeness to any real people or caricatures from this whole thing at all.
It's coincidental, entirely coincidental.
Basically, that's basically what they were able to play it off as. But it was, oh my gosh, it was so good. And going back to how you kind of like hid like from your parents, we used to do that all the time. Not with Power Rangers, but we had to do it with The Simpsons.
Oh,
yeah. And so like every time The Simpsons were on, like we would sneak downstairs to watch it. But if my mom ever would catch us, she would be like super pissed. My dad didn't care for some reason. My dad was like, whatever, and he would like watch it with us. But my mom did not like us watching The Simpsons as kids, and I'm probably the product of that now. Don't watch The Simpsons, you'll end up like me apparently. But until
I do not want to watch The Simpsons.
We finally kind of broke her and ended up getting to be able to watch like the holiday specials. Like every time there's a holiday special, she'd be like, okay, you guys can watch the holiday ones.
Because it's Christmas.
Yeah, because it's like Christmas or Halloween and it's a special. It's like, I don't know how this is any different, but we took it. And that was basically our lives.
I remember my memory of Simpsons was just knowing that it wasn't allowed, and then like after years of just sort of like hearing about it, always everybody talking about it and being confused, like why are all these other kids that are my age talking about The Simpsons? I don't get it. My parents say I'm not allowed to watch it. Certainly everyone else's childhood is the same as mine, right?
Yeah.
And after years of that, watching an episode of it where like a carnival worker steals the Simpsons house.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching that thinking, well, that was kind of funny, but I don't get it. What's
I don't understand.
Why does everyone talk about this show? And that, like, for years after, I didn't see any other Simpsons. Then I moved out and we got on my uncle's Netflix and we watched like all of Futurama. And I think after that,
so you basically became a bad person.
No, I think like because we did something you probably shouldn't do, which is watch a comedy episode after episode for hours on end, for days on end. When you do that,
there's nothing wrong with that.
You start to see all of the flaws of the show, and like you see jokes reoccurring, which wouldn't have felt reoccurring if you had watched it as broadcasted, because there would have been like weeks in between episodes.
Yeah. But
it just ruins the show for you.
See, my thing is like, when I watch a comedy cartoon episode after episode all the time, which is kind of what I always do whenever I watch stuff, is I end up like talking like the people in the show. So I would watch Archer a lot, and I ended up just ended up talking like this all the time. And then I'd watch Bob Burgers, and I was like, when? That was it. That was basically every time I watch a show, I turn into the characters. And
I'll tell you what. Gosh darn it, Bobby.
Gosh dang it, Bobby.
Gosh darn it, Bobby.
I can show you how to make a bomb out of a roll of toilet paper and a stick of dynamite.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
Good old King of the Hill. What a wonky show.
Nobody's going to get this because nobody listening to this probably goes to the film program at the community college, but
you're probably correct on that.
At the community college, when you check out the red camera, you also check out a Pelican case which is labeled Red Accessories Kit. And every time, I'm not joking, every time since like the beginning of me going to school there, I see Red Accessories Kit, I hear in my mind, I sell red cameras and red accessories. Which is stupid because it doesn't even work, but every time.
Did like Mark say that or something?
No, I just imagine.
Just imagine Hank Hill.
Yeah.
I sell red cameras and red accessories.
Sell reds and red accessories.
That's awesome. How was the classes going there? I haven't been there this whole semester because I took a semester off.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you know Chris Luker?
No, I know the name Luger.
So he was like a faculty member that had like a media corral. I don't know what he did, but he knows a lot about film and stuff. So he's kind of taken part of Mark's position, and he's teaching the cinematography class there. Bear with us, people that don't know what the heck we're talking about.
You'll get used to it. It'll just become second nature for you.
For the benefit of those listening, imagine a kind of a short, very energetic, very kind of like known for having a bit of a temper on him guy from LA who had worked in the film industry most of his life. Yeah, that's Mark. So imagine that, and then going to this very definitely middle-aged. He's taller.
Calm.
He's calm. He's very, very chill.
Wait, is he the guy that took over?
Yeah.
Halfway through the semester? Okay, so I know who you're talking about.
With gray hair.
Yeah. He was a really cool guy, but...
He kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
Mark talks more like this.
Mark was...
Guys. And Chris Luker is, all right, let's start class. Today we're going to talk about cameras.
It's like with the peanuts. Womp, 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 womp,
It's a very interesting shift in dynamic.
Yeah, it was like a sad movie going to a comedy really quick. Or something, vice versa, probably.
Like a dark comedy?
It's a very dark comedy, like Death at a Funeral or something.
The kind of movie that starts out as a tragedy but ends as a comedy.
But still a tragedy.
I think Mark would want it to be a comedy.
I think he would have wanted it to end a comedy.
He'd be tickled by that.
Tickled pink. He would say, he's like, I'm just tickled. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway.
What do you got for us?
Continuing on yours for a second. Have you seen the
Go Power Rangers?
Have you seen the trailer for Monster Truck?
I've seen a bunch of them, but I haven't seen the movie yet.
What do you think? What do you think of the trailers?
The trailer makes it look like a movie I don't actually want to see. Because it kind of looks over the top, corny and cheesy, and
It looks like a family film?
it looks like a family feature film. Like that whole thing and everything. That's exactly what it looks like. It just looks like a family feature film. And so I don't think I want to watch it. But I've heard it's really good.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I feel it so, my brother, his particular taste in movies is, to give you a sampling of some of his favorite movies,
Okay.
Have you ever watched Paycheck?
Is that the one where the little kid gets the $1 million check?
No, that's Millions, I think.
I have no idea.
No, Paycheck is a Ben Affleck film where Ben Affleck plays a suave reverse engineer who is paid large sums of money to spend like half a year locked in a small room reverse engineering some company's technology and making it better for another company.
Mm-hmm.
And then they erase his memory
Okay.
as part of his contract.
So
he can't go sell the secrets to other companies.
Yeah. Even though he could easily do it again because that's what he knows to do. So
And it's
whatever loopholes, you can exist wherever you want.
the premise is that he comes to after one of these contracts and he goes to collect his pay and they say, you didn't want your pay, you just left all these specific items for yourself to collect. And he's like, what?
Excuse me?
He comes to find out that he's invented a way to see the future, and this has predicted like humanity's own demise. Like it predicts thermonuclear war, and because of that, it causes thermonuclear war.
Wow. So it's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, and he has to like go on this adventure to go stop this company from making this technology and ending the world.
Because he's going to end the world by making that technology.
And
apparently.
Yeah. And it's very cheesy. It's very actiony. That's the kind of movie he likes. He likes The Fifth Element. Have you seen The Fifth Element?
Okay, I know The Fifth Element. I haven't watched the whole thing all the way through, but I have.
That's like one
I
of
have
his.
seen
That's
it.
like probably in his top 5, near like maybe his top 3. And when we watched that trailer, I think. What are you watching the stream on your phone?
I was making sure it was working. And it got really loud.
Anyway,
continue.
we saw the commercial for Monster Truck at the same time. The same movie we saw the commercial for Power Rangers, and like after Power Rangers, we looked at each other and we were both like, "Whoa, that looks cool and stupid, but cool." And then after Monster Truck, I turned to him and he was giving me a grin, and I was like, That looks so bad.
Can we please not watch it?
He was like, I think I want to see it. And I was like, of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad. I don't know. Like, if that floats your boat, that's cool. But I think it looks so dumb. Just.
But hey, maybe it's like a hidden gem. Maybe it's actually really good.
Or maybe it's definitely not. Maybe it's most definitely not at all. It looks
always possible.
It kind of reminds me of that what was it called, Monster Hunter or something like that.
The game on the Wii.
No. There was a Japanese film that came out, and then it kind of made it into America a little bit. Oh, what was it called? Maybe it was just called Monsters.
What?
I can't remember now. Well, forget it. Anyway, moving on.
Monsters versus Aliens?
No, because it was a live action with very much CGI'd monsters in them, and looked really cartoony and cheesy. I don't know.
You're not talking about Pacific Rim, right?
No, that movie's just bad.
Oh, no. Oh, you don't like Pacific Rim?
Oh my gosh. I've had this conversation so many times with so many different people. Like, I cannot. I do appreciate Pacific Rim for the movie that it is, but it's a B-rate movie. Tell me the main character's name.
Raleigh. The main character's name is Raleigh.
Can you tell me anybody else's names?
No.
That's how you know it is a B-rate movie. If you can't think of if that's the one thing you can't remember about any of it, then that's not a good sign.
What if it's a really good movie that just never has any dialogue that gives you the names of the characters?
Probably still a dumb movie. Like Castaway.
I thought Castaway was alright.
I liked Castaway. I saw Castaway when I was in Hawaii, so that was probably the
PTSD.
It was the bad time to watch Castaway. Yeah, we were on vacation in Hawaii, and we rented it from the motel on their little thing, and for some reason we watched it.
I just imagine the rental room guy like
laughing,
just like, you're gonna have a bad time.
Enjoy your stay at the Lonely Island Hotel. No.
See,
that was a good movie, though.
The reason I love Pacific Rim is not because of any of the characters. It's like, for a B-rated action film, it's like crazy. It's not like a drunken man in a rubber monster suit stomping on
They pulled out
miniatures.
all the stops. They went hardcore with their animation CGI.
I think to this day, one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema I've ever seen is when the Gypsy Danger... I can remember the names of the Jaegers. When the Gypsy Danger comes out of the ocean dragging a cargo ship.
Also, why
and
are they
uses
called
it
Jaegers?
Because that's German for hunter.
Them mechs?
It's German for hunter, man.
But English is English for mechs.
So you have to understand, there's a thing in
Why would they call them hunters?
There's a thing in entertainment called the rule of cool. All right?
The rule of cool.
The rule of cool. Why are they called Jaegers? There's no reason besides it sounds cool.
That is a good point.
Why are they called kaiju instead of just monsters?
Well, because kaiju is Japanese for monster.
Cool.
That's the actual Japanese word.
Yeah, so Jaeger is also an actual German word.
But for hunter.
Yeah.
Which does not...
What do you do when you get into those mechs? You hunt kaiju.
You mech. That's what you do, is you start meching.
That is not a verb.
To mech. To mech is to mech.
So that's what Diva does?
Yeah, she mechs. Mechs, man. She mechs like cray. She's just meching about.
That just sounds dangerously close to a racial slur.
Wreck?
Mechs.
Wow. Just pulling it out. No. I really didn't. I enjoyed the movie, but I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a great movie for a bad movie.
I think the fact that the characters have to exist is its weakest aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they had just completely embraced it and not tried to give anyone a backstory, or not tried to have any drama, the two people that pilot the newest mech it's a dad and a son, and he's got daddy issues because his dad never talks to him. Oh, or like, oh look, the main character is falling in love with the Chinese chick. None of that needed to exist.
No. there needed to be no gumption to that film. And I think that's kind of what bothered me about it, is they tried to put gumption to this film that just did not require it.
See, it
could have been Blade Runner.
One thing it does have is that it wasn't directed by Michael Bay, who does that exact thing with all of his movies.
Yes.
And that's like the biggest problem with anything he's ever directed.
I hate that Hawkeye has a family, by the way.
Really?
I think that's the stupidest thing.
No,
I thought that was so dumb.
I thought that was cool. What I didn't like about Age of Ultron is that they decided to try and convince us that Bruce Banner and Black Widow would be in love.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Michael Bay type of directing.
But that's a movie directed by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, Michael Bay type of directing.
No, see, if that had been Michael Bay type directing, then Hawkeye would have had like a Chihuahua and a Bulldog, and there would have been a joke about like
that
the
would have
Chihuahua
had like emotional issues.
Yeah, no, and there would have been a joke about the Chihuahua humping the Bulldog, and like he wouldn't have had like a family with a wife and kids. He would have been taking care of his crappy white trash parents.
Something, yeah.
And they would like always be getting up to hijinks, being drunk or accidentally getting high.
Yeah.
And there would have been like a character that was a useless like middle-aged white man. He exists to have a scene of him in his underwear. Like, that would be if Michael Bay had done that. Those are my favorite
scenes. No, but sorry, continue what you were saying. I didn't mean to derail.
What was that?
I can't remember.
You derailed me so hard I forgot what my
I derailed
point was.
like crazy.
Oh, no.
However, there's a movie I'm really... Oh, wait, before we go on to the movie I'm really excited for, I have a vent a little bit, because...
Ooh, vent.
Because I watched Doctor Strange, and it was a good movie. But I'm getting sick and tired of every Marvel character having to be a comedian. It is getting really old, really fast.
Cap ain't a comedian.
Yeah, but everybody around him is. And he's always got to have the little language, thing like that. Like, I'm just getting really tired of these really poorly placed...
That was one line.
Comic relief things.
One line.
But I mean, Tony Stark has to be funny. Bruce Banner has to continually have weird, funny moments. Thor continues to have funny moments. Even Black Widow.
Look, the only time Thor has had a funny moment that was actually him and not the situation around him was in that YouTube short where it's like, what did Thor do during Civil War?
When they were picking up the hammer and Captain moves the hammer a little bit, and then when they're getting the...
See, but that's lore building. That's Steven Rogers almost being worthy enough to move it. That's not like a joke.
I do get it. Well,
the joke is
Black Widow has wielded it.
The joke
many times.
Are we talking about comics or cinematic universe?
This is comics, but the idea like
comics don't matter in my world.
That's true. But like the problem, like the thing that's just bothering me is I feel like they've tried to give everybody these comic relief situations, and with Doctor Strange, it was so bad. Everything in that movie that was supposed to be funny, in my opinion, was just stupid. Like at the very end of the movie, where the fat guy kind of like the librarian laughs, he's like, huh, "That's funny right there." I was like, that was the dumbest line in any movie I have ever seen, and I intentionally watch B-rate movies all the time. And I was just like, come on, like,
man, I don't know if I agree with that. I've heard lines that were more predictable. I've heard lines that had less purpose. I've heard lines that were delivered worse.
I knew that line was coming ever since we first saw him in the library.
I'm not saying it wasn't predictable. I'm saying it could have been more predictable.
I don't know how it could have been more predictable, because it was just... Because, like, Doctor Strange is not a funny character. Tony Stark isn't even a funny character in the comics. Like...
Okay, look.
But they have made him out to be this playboy.
I need to make it important for you to know this. You cannot sit down and talk to me specifically about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and expect me to give a flying flip about anything that's happened in the comics, because I don't. I respect that they exist because that's the reason the Marvel Cinematic Universe exists.
Yes.
But beyond that, I don't care. I really don't.
I give no cares.
People are all talking about, oh, but in the comics this, oh, but in the comics that. And I say, it doesn't matter.
I guess you're right. I feel like they've, at least in the movies then alone, they've made all the characters very cliche. They're all kind of just people. It's not even people. They're just all kind of like exist. And I don't know. I'm still gonna watch every Marvel movie that ever comes out ever. I'm sure. I've even watched all the Hulks, and
all 2 of them.
Yeah.
Or have you also watched the was it 1970s television program?
Oh, I've seen pieces of that, but I haven't ever seen the old Lou Ferrigno Hulk all the way through. But I've seen a lot of it. I've seen there's an old 1970s Spider-Man that
really?
Is just wow.
I'm guessing it's a treat.
Oh, it is. It is a treat.
Who plays Peter Parker?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't think I finished the movie. It's that bad. It is sham wow. Just sham wow.
Okay, so but to be real, riddle me this.
Why did I meet you amongst the garbage?
Would you prefer a movie that was like Doctor Strange, where it's a good movie, it's a good sandwich, there's just some stuff in the sandwich that you didn't really like the taste of, it's a good movie, but you didn't enjoy the comedy bits? Or would you have the the mid-2000s Hulk movie, where it's nothing's good about it, it feels like it's 4 hours long. There's no real conclusion. The characters don't really have any character progression. It's just the Hulk jumping around in the desert for 3 hours.
It barely
and then his dad over context. His dad shows up at the end and he's like, I can absorb your power because I wanted to be immortal or something. And he turns into a lightning monster. And that's they fight each other at the end. Which one of those would you rather have more of?
I mean,
be real with me.
That's a hard one because I definitely hated I don't care who you are, you hate the first Hulk. Well, not the first one, the non-Lou Ferrigno, the one that looks like it's on comic book panels.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie, but I guess I would go with the Doctor Strange. Obviously, I'd have to.
I win.
I'd have to go with it, but it doesn't mean I like it. It just means I prefer. It's the lesser of 2 evils, in my opinion.
All right. Okay, so if I were to say Ant-Man, Doctor Strange, which
Ant-Man.
one? Ant-Man.
100%.
I thought
Ant-Man was phenomenal.
You thought Ant-Man was good? You enjoyed the comedy in Ant-Man?
Yes.
And you wanted
even though what's his name? I almost said Tim Curry for some reason.
Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd, but the character that he plays.
Scott,
what is it?
Langley? Is it Scott Langley?
I can't remember.
I think it might be Scott Langley.
I cannot remember if he's very comedic in the comics or cartoons or anything like that, but I felt like it wasn't bad because I felt like the jokes weren't bad to begin with. In Doctor Strange, I feel like the jokes
they were
bad.
integral. It felt like things were leading up to jokes.
Yeah,
but
very
not
contrived.
Not in a contrived way in Ant-Man. It was
the
jokes made sense in context, but the jokes in Doctor Strange were kind of more
just.
I feel like it might have been a little bit the screenwriters going along and they're well, it's been this many pages in the script and there hasn't been a joke. I'm afraid they won't like it.
Yeah.
Because Marvel has their rules and
absolutely.
And I respect the fact that their universe has rules, and one of those rules is just there's got to be some laughs.
You gotta be entertaining. You can't just
have 3 hours of Batfleck fighting smashing gent.
That was the worst movie.
But let's not talk about that right now.
Let's not. We're not going to move on to Batman yet.
Nope.
Oh, goodness. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to hate Batman again.
Tell me if this is how you felt. Going into Doctor Strange, like I say, I never read comics.
And I do.
I had looked at his character design, and I thought, oh, this is kind of like more of a serious character. One way or another, this guy's kind of more serious, and I kind of thought, oh, he's a doctor, he's a doctorate, he's an educated man, but he's not like a billionaire playboy philanthropist like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So I thought,
even though he is kind of a super rich dude,
I thought maybe he wasn't going to be like the kind of guy that tell a joke. I knew there were going to be jokes, but I thought they would be like situational jokes that happened because of stuff going on around him. But then I sat down in the theater. I was like, he was like playing the game where he was pulling a bullet out of a man's like spinal column, and he was like, "Oh, this is that song that you're playing on the iPod." And I was like, "Okay, no, he's gonna be a joke-telling character. All right, I can roll with that."
But then like it felt like they set up a character that stopped existing throughout the rest of the film, because like that character, like that almost dry humor with a little bit of lavishness to it, it didn't feel bad. Because I mean, Doctor Strange is a serious person. He basically holds the power of the universe.
Yeah.
Like he literally is just, he's kind of the omnipotent in a lot of senses. Other than like Sentry, Doctor Strange, if I remember correctly, actually
where's he stand on the tier
list?
Where's he stand on the Marvel Universe tier list?
I have no idea, but I think that in a couple episodes he actually worked with the Seekers a couple times, which are the omnipotents, basically. And so when they first introduced him in the movie, I was like, okay, I can believe this almost dry, but like almost lavish, dry comedy with him. But then I felt like they never went back to it.
I feel like my cousin made the comment, and I agree with this, that in a lot of origin story movies specifically, there's a lot of storylines that are fighting for screen time and attention, and a lot of the times in a movie, those storylines, like some of them will get lip service and then they'll be forgotten. Like the whole thing where he was trying to get his hands back, there was like a little bit where it was like, okay, all we're talking about in this part of the movie is he doesn't have use of his hands, and then it's like after that, like he starts dressing like a Sith Lord and starts learning how to do magic, and after that he doesn't really talk about his hands anymore.
Yeah.
He never there's never that moment where I thought it would have been nice to see maybe a moment where he teleports back to America. Which coast was he on? The East Coast or the West Coast?
I can't remember. I want to say East Coast though.
He teleports back to New York or whatever. And he's like, holy cow, I figured out how to use my hands again. And he like goes back to the surgery room, or maybe he almost does, and there's that moment like where he needs to decide. But I'm okay that wasn't there, because that's in like every origin story.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everybody's got to have that Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah, well they've all got to have that like crooks, that whole like the boy and girl break up, but it's not the end of the movie yet, so you know they're gonna get back together situation.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So it's like the storyline where he was a doctor and then he lost his hands kind of transitions then into the story of him trying to get his hands back, and then that goes into the storyline of him being a superhero now.
See, and I feel like more movies should kind of do, what was the first, the most recent Planet of the Apes, because now there's the Rise of Planet of the Apes or whatever. What was the first one? And I'm not talking about the 2000 one. I'm talking about the more recent ones.
The ones that happened in San Francisco.
Dawn of Planet of the Apes, yeah, or something like that.
And one of them was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and one of them was the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Whichever one was the first one, I feel like they need to make more movies like that, because that was a completely introductory movie, and I loved it. It was amazing because it prepared you. Like, It gave you good backstory. It gave you good setup. It gave you an amazing character building.
Nothing in the second one in that series would work if you hadn't seen the first one.
Exactly.
And I think that's really cool because, like, that's kind of a risk.
It's a
when
huge
you're making
risk.
a movie because, like, people are gonna, like, you can put a giant 2 in the title of a movie, and there's still gonna be people walking into that theater that haven't seen the first one, and if you don't spoon feed them, they're going to walk out and they're going to say, oh, that was a terrible movie. I didn't understand any of it.
Well, and that's the problem. And with the setup movies, because like I said, I loved it.
I quite enjoyed it too.
And I know most of the people I've talked to did not like it. Like,
well, that's because they're still trying to pretend that the Charlton Heston one was a good movie instead of a good laugh.
But like, so I thought it was amazing. But you're right. You said it's a huge risk because when you make a setup movie like that, people either love it or they hate it. And I feel like, unfortunately, more people hate it because there's no action. There's nothing exciting going on. But like when you really think about it, that whole movie is just tense. Like
it's actually, it doesn't look at all, but it feels like a movie from the 70s, which is like when the first one was made. Because it's like in the 70s, a movie like that could exist, where it's just sort
people
of
had patience then.
Things happening.
Yeah,
and
setting
it's not
things
like
up.
There doesn't need to be a fight scene. I don't want to be like the baby boomer old person making the political cartoon about kids not having any attention span, but that's kind of how movies have changed over time.
Yeah, they have to, and I understand it. I mean, I still enjoy going into a movie and having to get into it, but at the same token, I also prefer movies when they're almost 3 to 4 hours long because then it gives you at least an hour of setup.
Yeah, no,
and you can like really prepare for why these characters are like this.
One of the movies I watched this year, I think it came out in 2015, but I watched it this year or 2016. That I really liked was Interstellar, which I haven't seen it yet, but it's continue. A little bit longer than 3 hours. And I didn't realize that when I sat down to watch it. Like, a little bit had gone past, and I was like, I looked at my watch, I was like, whoa. What? And I looked at the back of the box, I was like,
it's 11?
Holy crap. Because it's like, in Interstellar, it's this movie about a man that travels through a wormhole to try and find, like, a new place for humanity to live, because it's the end of days. And,
Jeebus is coming.
Not really.
Oh.
Like,
was it Zool?
No, planet Earth is becoming unviable. We can't. There was something that was like
we killed the planet, basically.
Well, there was like a bacteria that was gonna fill the atmosphere in place of oxygen that we wouldn't be able to breathe. So we'd basically all suffocate and die.
Oh, fun.
But it's like
my favorite way to go.
A very large part of the beginning of that movie is just like this guy being on Earth, and slowly, like, it shows you how he gets caught up into the situation and explains why he chooses to fly away from home and leave his kids behind. And it's not like, you could have made that movie in 2 to like even less than 2 hours if you had been like, okay.
If you'd been Michael Bay.
Here is Earth. Blam. Here is your main character. Blam. Here is NASA. He needs to go fly away with NASA. Blam, blam, blam. Okay, here he is experiencing the 5-dimensional space in a tesseract, and blam, blam, blam. Okay, humanity is saved.
Yeah, but instead they spend time preparing and leading up to these situations so that you're not just like,
I mean, if you look at the original The Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston, not a lot happens in that movie.
Not a lot happens at all, but
it's like, it's kind of exciting at the beginning because it's like, whoa, he's like an astronaut and he went through like a weird wormhole.
Now he's on a planet of apes.
Who knows what's going on anymore? But it's like,
and he kisses a person in a rubber costume, which was everyone's favorite scene. So uncomfortable to watch that scene. That should be on top 10 cringiest moments ever. That and the new Need for Speed game, just like the whole game.
Oh.
But anyways.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen footage.
It's so bad. Like, the rest of the game is amazing. The cinematics are so bad. Oh, I've played it. Anyway, continue.
I think you were the one that needs to continue. You were talking about Dawn of the Planet of the
Just
Apes.
like setup movies like that, because if we could get more setup movies, like Doctor Strange could have had an awesome setup movie. Batman did the setup movie, and people still like it, and that's what made Dark Knight the best movie.
Yeah,
because they had that setup movie.
It was like everything, all of the housekeeping has been taken care of.
Yeah, that first movie was a whole setup movie.
It's basically the movie equivalent of waking up on Saturday and realizing your weekly chores are done already. So so you can just goof off.
And so that was what made The Dark Knight so incredible. That and Heath Ledger, but
heaven rest his soul. Boy, does he need it.
Yeah, but so with those setup movies, it makes the next movie that much more incredible. I mean, The Matrix did it to a degree. With the first Matrix.
I feel like a lot of the criticism I heard about Episode 7, Star Wars The Force Awakens, can really just literally be explained away by the fact that it is one of this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of that movie was like, okay, we're establishing these characters and their motivations so that that's all out of the way when Episode 8 comes, and we can just be on with it.
We can just go into it. And they threw action in there to kind of keep people in their seats, the second Death Star.
What action it was. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when Finn picks up the lightsaber, I got chills all over my body.
I saw that
Not
movie.
even kidding you.
I saw that movie twice in theaters, and on Jakku, the almost Tatooine.
Yeah, Jakkuine.
Jakkuine, when they're flying in the Millennium Falcon. That scene is just so well directed.
It's beautiful, yeah. Everything about it, like the motions, the flight pattern, the camera, it makes the scene feel so immersive.
That movie will be the reason I watch the rest of the Star Trek movies, because I'm like, JJ, you've won my trust back.
Oh yeah,
you've earned my respect.
You lost your trust?
I didn't like the first JJ Star Trek.
I liked it. I felt like it was still fairly true to the old Star Treks.
See, here's my problem again: is I don't bother with the source material. I've never watched any of the other Star Treks, so all I get from it is, wow, Captain Kirk is a dick, and holy crap, this movie has Leonard Nimoy in it. That's kind of cool. That was
neat.
That was my takeaway value. Oh, dude, he's dead now.
Leonard Nimoy died?
I think so.
I think you're right.
Oh, jeez.
Did Leonard Nimoy die? Why is no one answering us? Yes, he did.
He was taken by 2016, just like everybody else.
Whatever, they didn't take Stephen Curry.
They can have him.
Unfortunately. No, they didn't take, what's his name?
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry, there we go. I don't know, why did I say Stephen Curry? I don't even watch football. Is that football? Is that
You're asking
basketball?
the wrong man, dude.
Anyway, they didn't take Tim Curry, and that's really all I care about, because did you ever see The Three Musketeers? That man is a beautiful man.
Tim Curry is so great.
He's like the perfect human being.
Freaking Long John Silver in The Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, he's perfect. But, so going back to our original discussion, movies need to have setup movies again. Because, the Star Wars Episode 7, that was a setup movie. It was a preparatory movie to get you ready for the next.
And it's still
amazing.
Still dethroned James Cameron's Avatar as the highest grossing movie in history. It did. It did.
Wow.
Which is incredible because James Cameron's Avatar held the throne
for a very long time.
Yeah, for almost a decade.
I love when people got upset about that movie, like, oh, it's just Pocahontas.
See, what happened with that movie was...
it's just Dancing with Wolves.
Like,
oh, it's just Fern Gully. I was like, I don't give a crap.
Loads of people went to see it. They sat down in theaters, and they walked out, and they thought, wow, that was a good movie. I had a good time watching that.
Yeah.
And then, like, it became as successful as it was, and, like, critics were like, oh...
we can't like it anymore.
No, it's... And then everyone else just started repeating what the critics were saying.
Oh yeah, they were just getting spoon-fed. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's we all hate it." I remember walking out and hating. I was like, "That movie was amazing."
To bring back the test you had for Pacific Rim, I remember the name of Jake Sully and they named Neytiri and then Grace Augustine.
See, I won't lie, because this test doesn't work for me because I cannot remember names. I've forgotten my own birthday, but I know this test works on a lot of other people. But anyways, continue.
The villain's name was Quaritch.
Dang, dude, you're just going ham on this. It was a great movie.
Dude, I love that movie.
I don't care.
So much.
It was a fun,
and again,
lighthearted movie.
It's a movie that's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah, they give you time to emotionally connect to people. Like it was solid and it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. Like,
do you know they invented a new kind of camera for the motion capture for that film?
Really?
Yeah, and it was made on. It's probably not anymore, but at that point, it was the largest render farm in the world.
That's
to
crazy.
do all the animation.
There was a lot of animation. It was a lot.
Yeah,
it was like all animation.
Like, look at that movie versus Star Wars Attack of the Clones and tell me it's not, like, a groundbreaking, mind-blowing film.
That is true.
Star Wars Attack of the Clones, also about that much animation went into it, and it looks so bad.
Yeah.
It looks like a 1990s cutscene from a video game.
From a bad video game.
Like a Command and Conquer cutscene.
Definitely not from Blizzard. I mostly play Blizzard games for their cutscenes, I'm not going to lie. But I think that's everybody's guilty pleasure. But no, Avatar was great, and everybody that hates on it can just go live in a shoe. Because that's the insult I'm allowed to do on the air.
A very big shoe, though.
A very big, dirty shoe.
There were a lot of people that, at least they say they don't like it.
Yeah.
I have a theory that a lot of people that say they don't like it haven't seen it.
Or secretly love it.
Yeah.
But they don't want to admit it because they've already dug themselves too deep. They said they hated it once and now they can never go back. It's how I am with Game of Thrones. I can't watch it anymore ever because I already gave it too much crap when it first came out. That I basically am never allowed to watch that show.
See, my deal with Game of Thrones is I started listening to the first book on audio cassette. Mm-hmm. Not audio cassette. Listen to me talking like it's the 1980s.
He still has laser discs.
I started listening to it on CD, which apparently that's outdated already anyway.
Compact disc. For our younger viewers.
Yes, uses lasers to read digital data off of a spinning piece of plastic.
That basically spins fast enough to cut wood.
I started listening to the audiobook, and I had to stop because I just really didn't like the book. And I thought like all the characters were creepy and, well, not all the characters, but the main characters.
A lot of them.
And I could just, I've read a lot of books, and I've learned that you can kind of tell what kind of a book it's going to be in the first couple of chapters, and I could tell.
There we go. Successfully reconnected. Hopefully my encoding overloaded us, apparently. I really need a new laptop.
Don't worry, guys. We exist again. Are you
going
going to get a tax return?
Probably not.
I hope I do. Last year I got... Are
you going to buy us a laptop?
Last year I got about a $1,500 tax return.
Holy crap.
So if that happens again, which it might not at all, but if that does happen again, I might get like a Microsoft Surface Pro or something.
Don't get a Surface.
No, I want to get a Surface
Pro. They're really not good.
Because I want to get it to use to draw on.
I would just get a laptop that flips then. My buddy has a Surface, And
Is it a Surface or a Surface Pro? And which version is it?
Was $1,000. That's all I know. He got it about 2 years ago.
Well, I'm not going to pay that much for a laptop. I'm just not.
Yeah, well, that's how much a Surface is gonna be.
Nah, you can get a Surface Pro 3 for like $400.
You're getting a really crappy one then.
No.
Because he got like a high end one. Because it was like I said, it was like $1,000, and he is not.
Was this in 2012?
More like 14.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he is not sad. He likes it. He wishes he would have bought a laptop infinitely.
If I was going to spend $1,000 on a laptop, then I would get like an Alienware.
That's just a waste of money.
Not if you get like a slightly older Alienware. That's like still really good, but it's not the newest, hottest, hippest thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'd get a MacBook if I really want to destroy money. So you have to understand. I work in media.
So do I.
I work in media. And my main media machine is a Macintosh.
Yeah.
And that's like, it would be like the equivalent of having a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation Vita, quote unquote, like parentheses, how Sony wanted you to think that would be, or it'd be like you could just throw like. Anyway, I'm digging myself too deep talking about laptops. Just alienating everybody. No one's gonna like me anymore because I'm not getting an Acer Predator.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I would love that. In my opinion, for a gaming laptop, that one is still not worth the money though.
Do you know?
Last time I saw it's gonna be like a $3,000 laptop.
I think it's like more like 7,000.
Yeah, that's not worth the money. I would love one.
It would be great.
That'd be amazing.
If I could just have one for free.
Two 1080p's, or two 1080p's, two GTX 1080s. Where's my mouth? Where's my mind? Yeah,
where's your brain?
Two GTX 1080s in it. That's more than my computer has.
Do you know there's an even crazier option on the market though? There is a Razer has started making gaming laptops. Do you know what theirs does?
What?
It's got 3 screens. So you set it up, and then you pull out from the screen 2 more.
2 more screens.
So it's a triple monitor.
Oh my goodness.
Thing.
That's insane. That's ludicrous. I want it. I want it, right? Can you imagine? Right here, 3 screens.
Yeah, the table would break.
The table already is broken.
The table would break again.
We broke it last episode.
Yeah. you guys really missed out.
There was
the pilot episode.
There's still no way to close the table correctly either.
We broke things. Taylor took his shirt off on camera.
I mean, we were getting.
I got blackout high.
A sentence. That's just a sentence. That's all that is at this point. That's just a sentence. No. But I am excited. The new Voltron season 2 is out.
How is It's awesome. Like over the summer, somebody in one of my classes was like, Voltron's awesome, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll check it out, and I still haven't.
You should watch it.
Okay, give me like an analog for quality as far as North American animation goes. Are we talking like Teen Titans, Avatar: Last Airbender, Samurai Jack?
It's kind of hard because it's like a mixture between like CGI and cartoon, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's very cartoon realism still. So more Avatar, less Teen Titan-y.
Yeah, okay, but I didn't mean like the animation quality itself. I meant the show, like as an experience.
Probably more Avatar-y.
Cool.
Because there's still, it's still technically considered anime by form, even though it's a Netflix original. Netflix does some good stuff.
So it's North American animation.
Yeah, but it's North American anime. They still try to make it feel very anime, like they still add goofy comedy to it, but it's got amazing action. Like, I think I loved it. I watched the first season and I was like, this is awesome. I was going to watch the first episode today before the show, so I have something a little bit more to talk about for Voltron, but I was reading on IGN and GameSpot and stuff like that, and I just...
Did you get afraid?
Afraid?
Like, you were reading about it, or you were just reading and you lost track of time?
Oh, I was just reading and lost track of time.
Oh, because I thought you were saying you were reading about it,
Like,
and you
as
got
in the movie?
afraid. No, about like Voltron.
Oh.
And you got afraid that it wouldn't be good or something.
Oh, no. I don't read television reviews.
But no, you just lost track of time.
Yeah, well, I was kind of trying to read as much about the Switch as that I could, or the Switch.
You were
that I
reading
could.
on IGN, and suddenly it was 9 to 10. IGN.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what IGN rates every game is 9 out of 10.
I thought that joke up in my head right here all by myself.
you.
You proud? You should be proud.
I'm giving you 2 thumbs way sideways.
Did you ever watch Samurai Jack?
I never did watch Samurai Jack. That's with Samuel L. Jackson, right? Or no, it's Afro Samurai. Never mind.
Yeah, no. Samurai Jack is a Cartoon Network original.
Okay.
And so because of that, it has some like constraints. Like he only ever fights robots and stuff instead of fighting people. But it's a lot. It's like really crazy for a Cartoon Network original because like the premise is that this samurai warrior was fighting basically like this pseudo-Japanese version of Satan, and he was about to defeat this Satan-esque character when he got sent forward in time by like a spell. So like he's like so far forward in time, Earth is like Star Wars, and there's aliens and mega cities and robots and stuff.
All sorts of craziness.
And this whole time that he's been out of the loop because of time travel, this like bad guy Satan character has been ruling the world. And so he's basically just going around on these more or less disconnected adventures, trying to find a way to go back in time so he can stop this all from happening, while all the while fighting the forces of evil.
Of course.
The like in the pilot episode, which is like kind of like a movie, like feature length. There's a fight sequence that all you need to do is remember that Jack is a samurai from like feudal era Japan, and he doesn't understand what robots are. And all you need to do is remember that he's not thinking consciously in his head that this is okay, this is a robot.
Yeah.
And replace the oil from the insides of the robots with blood.
Yeah.
And it would be like, it's like 300. Like he's cleaving them in half, getting covered in their blood, yelling in rage.
But it's okay with their robots.
Yeah, the robots.
That's pretty racist.
Yeah. Oh, it's
The
fine.
robs.
You can't kill people on kids' TV, but you can kill robots.
You can kill robots any day you want.
So, okay, explained it. It's like Voltron. It has gotten. It either has already, or it's going to get like an Adult Swim reboot.
Okay.
And it's going to be directed by the same guy, but you don't really know anything about Samurai Jack, so I guess that's all I really have to say
I
on the
need to go
subject.
watch it then. Because I've heard a lot about it, I just never ended up watching it. But Voltron is, you need to watch Voltron, like, because I think it's Voltron and Ruby. If you haven't watched Ruby,
I'm not gonna watch Ruby.
you can't be on my show anymore.
Bye. Nah, see.
We're kicking Laserdisc out. He's done. Why aren't you gonna watch Ruby?
Because everything about the premise makes me want to fall asleep.
It's amazing. It's Rooster Teeth. Another thing that Rooster Teeth can do.
See, I watched
Camp.
I watched RVB on YouTube in high school,
Nothing like RVB.
and I was like, this is funny, and then I kept watching it, and like with Futurama, I'd be like, this isn't funny anymore.
Yeah, nothing like RVB.
And then I watched like clips of Ruby, and I know what the premise is, and
It got so deep. Like, it's getting, like, the end of season 3, like, just shatters your world. it just ruins you. And I'm waiting for all of season 4 to come out because I don't want to watch it episode to episode. I want to be able to binge watch 40 billion episodes in a row and cry and laugh and be happy. And because I love Ruby and Nora's best girl for sure, but at least watch Voltron.
She your bae?
Dude, Nora's the best. She's so the best.
I'll watch Voltron because it sounds like it could be cool.
Voltron's really cool. It's kind of like Power Ranger-esque.
The thing is, like, I have this problem. I don't really consider it a problem, but it does cause trouble when I'm trying to talk to other people about, like, what they've watched recently.
Like good stuff.
I don't like TV.
I don't either. Like I said, I only watch very select things.
If I find out a TV show goes on for longer than 2 seasons, I'll probably turn my nose up at it and not give it a chance. And so it's like
Ruby's only 4 seasons. You can just pretend it's 2 different shows.
No.
I can't even believe you.
Maybe if like you show it to me starting from the point at which it picks up.
So episode 1.
I can't watch it.
It's amazing every second. I've never, very few shows have made me happier than Ruby. Dexter, first 3 seasons was one of those shows. Everything after that is just not good.
Did you ever watch The X-Files?
I never did. I always wanted to. I just never did.
Okay.
They're on Netflix, I think, and I want to go watch them.
So that specific kind of show is like something that my older brother really enjoys. And a few years ago, he hadn't seen any X-Files. And he started watching some of it. He was like, hey, I really like this. This is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that year, he fell off of a ladder at work, and he had broken his wrist. So for most of a month, he was just at home having a broken wrist.
Binge watching the X-Files.
So he watched 4 seasons, just all day long watching the X-Files, and he was like, "This is cool." And then, starting in some point during the 5th season, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It moved away from being a show that was each episode is this story where it's Scully and Mulder are figuring out this mystery or something. There's this unsolved case they need to get to the bottom of, and then they solve it, or do they? And then the next episode is a new thing. It started going away from that to being there were all these really drama heavy kind of plot lines that were kind of stitching the episodes together behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And he was out of loyalty, because he really doesn't dig that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And out of loyalty, he kept watching till almost the end. And then there's 9 seasons. Well, at this point there's 10, because they did that 10 episode long episode or season 10 in 2015. But he almost got to the end of season 9, and
just couldn't do it anymore.
I kept asking him why he was doing this, because it was upsetting him to watch this show. He kept he would stop, he would pause in the middle of an episode, and he would vent to me and my cousin about why this was so stupid and this show is such bullcrap.
It's this show is garbage now. I can't do it anymore. Voltron's not like that.
Good.
Voltron's good. So I'm excited about that because season 2 finally came out. Because it dropped today, and I'm super happy. I'll probably go home and start watching it, I'll just start
keep
streaming
watching
and
it.
not watch it at all.
No, you should do a stream where you're just watching it.
If I didn't get copyright and banned,
No, you don't stream the show. You just do
me watching.
Do the Shia LaBeouf thing, where it's a stream of a camera pointing at you while you watch something.
While I watch whatever I'm watching.
And sometimes you react to it vocally, but usually you just watch.
You just sit there, pull a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type deal.
Not even that. You're not like
MST3K.
you're not doing commentary or anything. You're just watching it. You're just enjoying.
I would have a hard time not doing commentary. I do commentary all the time. It's kind of a problem. It's a blessing and a curse.
It's a
blurse.
It's a comment on your life.
I narrate my own life in my head all the time.
In whose voice?
My own. So it's pretty dumb and annoying.
You're a narcissist.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know anyone else's voices.
See, when I find myself narrating my life,
Morgan Freeman.
It's Morgan Freeman, or it's Jim
Morgan
Dale,
Freeman.
or maybe it's Tim Curry, right? Maybe it's freaking Mark Hamill. Maybe.
Why would it be Mark Hamill?
Not Mark Hamill's Joker, like Mark Hamill's Colonel Muska from Castle in the Sky.
You have fun with that. You have a lot of fun with that.
Sometimes I narrate my life with Yoda's voice. Like I can pitch perfectly recreate people's voices in my head. Not with my own voice.
My
but
mouth
in my
can't
head.
do it. My brain's always got it on point. Once it tries to come out of my mouth, it's like, hi.
In 12th grade,
I'm Tom Hanks.
In 12th grade, I watched all of this show called Code Geass, anime called Code Geass. I watched all of it in like less than 2 months, which for me, at least at the time, that was very fast to watch 2 seasons of a show. And
I guess that's true.
Near the end of me watching it, where I was like chemically addicted to watching it because like the story just keeps you like.
It had been so long that it hurts
I
to go without
discovered
it.
that just my regular train of thought was happening in the voice of the main character, and I thought to myself, I have a problem. I should seek help, but I never did.
Good, proud of you.
I just finished the show anyway and waited for that to just stop happening.
As you should have done. You're not supposed to actually get help when it comes to television. The help is by finishing. That's what happens. That's what you do. You just finish.
That is the only release.
The only. You know, so good luck with your life on that spot. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch.
Again. Okay.
Well, I did a little bit more reading on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, have you read anything on it at all yet?
I have not.
Let's not talk about it then. What do you have?
Have you ever played a RPG? A tabletop RPG?
Like, what?
Like D&D?
Oh, I play
something like
D&D weekly.
So, this last week, on MLK, the second
Martin
day,
Luther King.
MLKJ day, my brother, and my cousin, we played a little bit of Pathfinder.
How did you enjoy it?
It was quite fun, and that was for all 3 of us. Well, not all 3 of us. My older brother had played D&D before, but that was basically the first experience we all had with a tabletop RPG.
They're fun.
And it was a good time.
I really enjoy them.
My brother had gotten the Pathfinder beginner's box in a Humble Bundle of all things years ago.
How? They
Like
only,
2
I thought they
years
only did
ago.
video games.
This was like a weird like special thing that in this particular bundle
Yeah.
that like you had to pay an extra amount
Whatever.
of money to get. And so like 2 years ago maybe at this point he got it, and it was like a half a year after that it got mailed finally. It was the weirdest thing.
That's awesome.
And then
You guys are all pumped to play it and it never comes.
And then another half a year after that, like 2 weeks ago, we sat down and we like filled out our character sheets, and then just last week we played it. And
I'm proud of you.
it was good. I played the male human fighter.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yellow
because
Wizard's
I
about
want
to die.
I wanted to be something more exciting, but the beginner's box only accounted for humans, elves, dwarves. I think that was it.
Yeah.
Like Pathfinder itself has a lot more options for like play a race, but it like kind of constricts you in the beginner's box because it's like this is for beginners.
Yeah.
So I was the male human fighter.
Has low health. Every time you say that, I think that Yellow Wizard is about to die.
Warrior is very hungry. My brother was the female elf rogue, and my cousin was the female dwarf cleric, because he always has to be contrary in some way or another. He can't just play along.
Yeah, obviously.
My character, my go-to
human male fighter.
My go-to role-playing personality is kind of like the not self-aware, like a little bit full of himself, like kind of a jock kind of a guy, like an adventurer.
So very
jock.
much like you as a human being, just in general, very stout, jocular.
Yeah, no, yeah, and he's like
hefty,
6.5 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean
he looks like
epitome.
he looks a little bit like Gaston from the Beauty and the Beast.
Just in case you guys don't know, is actually based off of Jason Laserdisc.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
But no, he fights with a battle axe named Clementine.
Of course.
Extra points if you understand that reference.
I feel like I do, but I don't.
Wait, I'll tell you
are
later.
You doing The Last of Us?
Nah.
Or I've been Walking Dead, Clementine?
Nope.
Oh.
Nah, it's a reference to a video game.
Where a battle axe is named Clementine?
Where an axe is named Clementine.
Is it Baldur's Gate?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. It's
Golden Axe?
It's a game on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
I was going to stay with Baldur's Gate then. And it's not Golden Axe? Which
Nah,
is,
it's...
I think, Super
It's
Nintendo.
Brutal Legend.
Oh, the Jack Black game!
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I still haven't played that yet.
Yeah, no, he has a guitar
Yeah.
named Clementine.
Yeah.
So
I want to play. I've heard it's really good.
He fights with a two-handed battle axe named Clementine or a heavy crossbow named Cynthia.
Perfect.
And my brother. Neither my brother nor my cousin named their weapons. The character that my cousin has, she's like, oh, you know, it kind of talks like this. It just sort of goes with the flow.
So kind of how your cousin talks.
Like, her catchphrase is, yeah, it's alright, I guess.
Wow. Wow.
Like, has a stick with a carven image of his character's chosen deity. The backstory is that somebody at the monastery, their brother was an artisan and carved a bunch of those for the monastery, but nobody wanted them. So his character was like, it's a free stick, I'll take it, I guess. And also has this weapon in the guidebook called a star knife, like a throwing star but bigger and with a handle in the middle.
Wow.
That's like supposedly what like clerics of this chosen deity like to use. So his character has one but doesn't like using it because it's just some spangly nonsense.
Wow, is that what he says?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And my older brother, so my cousin and I are both aspiring story makers and media makers, so we're the creative too. My older brother isn't a very creative person, so he didn't have much backstory. Just his character is a noblewoman who decided to become a rogue and a pickpocket despite already being from money.
So my character, I'm a halfling warlock. My name is Kif Grayson. I was either kidnapped or sold. Wait, say that again.
You want to know the name of my character?
What?
Galdirk Prarks the Third. And when he walks into a room and he's about to fight some goblins, he announces himself. He says, I, Galdirk Prox the Third, shall kill you with my battle axe Clementine.
Wow. Sounds like you guys are having fun, though.
Yeah, no.
No, so my guy's name is Kif Grayson. I'm a halfling warlock. I was either sold or stolen when I was like 3 years old. I don't remember. And I basically lived most of my life in the occult, learning like the dark arts and everything like that, like sacrificing people. And
are you an edgelord?
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so like, imagine Sonic the Hedgehog is the milquetoast heroic character.
Oh no, I'm not.
An
Shadow.
edgelord is like
I'm not
the
Shadow
the Hedgehog to the Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, my character's basically crazy, I guess you could say, because when I'm not in combat, I'm lawful good. When I am in combat, I'm chaotic evil. So like, I wouldn't even push somebody out of my way if they were like
I don't know,
coming
man.
at me. But then once I'm in combat, I have no problem like skinning my enemies.
I don't know, man. That sounds pretty edgy.
Oh, it's definitely pretty edgy, but I'm basically crazy. Like,
that's so anime.
Oh, it's very anime, dude. It's beautiful. It's super fun, and so I've almost killed my own teammates a couple times because, like,
staying true to character. I like it.
You have to. I mean, it's the best way to do it. Like, because when I'm not, in combat, I'm very cheerful and chipper and annoying. And so one of our characters, who's a wood elf, gets really annoyed with me very quickly.
Flicks you in the back of the
ear.
And
yeah, she like smacked me in the head or something like that, and I turned around, and just did Arms of Hadar on her from point blank, and completely took all of her HP down. She had to do saving rolls to survive, but
why do they even keep you around?
Because I do a lot of damage when I can do damage, which is rare.
Gosh darn anime characters.
Oh, she's a moon elf. That's right.
Earn your keep.
I mostly just tank a lot because if I can get the last hit on people, I get like a health thing.
That's what I was doing. I was taking the most damage.
Yeah. Well, because when I get the last hit on somebody, I get like a health boost, and so my standard health is like 18, but then I can have like 29 health, and so I basically just tank and like I'll get attacked and like, all right, cool. I'm still above regular health. I'm just gonna keep going and irritating people. So. But
yeah, my character, because I'm a fighter,
male human fighter,
I already have a lot of HP, but there's like character traits you can choose in Pathfinder, and one of them, which was recommended for people like rogues or wizards, was called toughness, and it just adds a bunch of extra HP, and I chose that one. Like, it specifically doesn't recommend you pick it as a fighter. But I was like, nah, dude.
I'm taking it. I'm edgy.
HP build.
I'll do whatever I want. HP Ymir.
I, Galdurk Prarx III, have lots of HP and do not mind taking hits for the team.
HP Ymir for days.
Oh, man.
But I just bought new dice because my last dice hate me. I legitimately think I'm cursed. And so I went around and I touched everyone else's dice. But no, I just went and bought new dice from the store today. From Epic Puzzles and Games. You guys also, if you want cool dice, come to Epic Puzzles and Games. You got some sweet dice. I just bought some dice from here. I call them my jewels because they're all different colors.
Family jewels?
Well, like they're all that clear coat, essentially. But they're all like, one's green, red, orange, yellow, and blue. And so they look like jewels.
I would look at those and I would think that they look like Jolly Ranchers.
I thought that was so too, but I was like, it would be cool. Don't touch my dice. It'd be cool if I just called them my jewels because it's D&D.
Your family jewels.
I'm gonna call them jewels. No,
it's your family jewels.
You
keep them in a sack.
Jewels.
You keep your jewels in a sack, dude.
Unfortunately,
your family jewels.
Do. But
you don't have like a wooden box with engravings.
No,
and
I'm a halfling, dude. I carry pouches around. My parcels. My parcelets, even.
And halflings. I don't know, man. When I'm doing an RPG, I like to be the biggest, brawniest.
Well, our first time I was a pretty big dude, but we have a guy that's made out of obsidian that's on our team. His name is Dulcidian. He's pretty legit, dude.
That sounds fragile.
Obsidian? No, he's not.
Sounds like
I think he weighs like 700 pounds.
That sounds easy to deal with. I'm guessing you don't go on boats that much.
No, Well, we're kind of in a steampunk-esque area.
Ah.
I think we got here on a spaceship, but it's not really steampunk, more like clockwork. So, you know, less...
I mean, that is a big part of the steampunk aesthetic.
Yeah, but clockwork is...
Glue some gears on.
It's like less...
Glue some gears on.
Sensible. Because steampunk kind of at least tells you how it works. Clockwork's just like, it works.
There's robots, and there's inside them, they have a spring. There are
He's a monolith, apparently. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. You're not. But
see, when I try to look at chat, I just see this
giant
phallus
microphone. Probably shouldn't say that.
This microphone that definitely doesn't look like I just
whatever you said
it was.
What else are you holding? Near your mouth. See, you walked yourself into this one. This is your own fault now.
I always walk into this when I'm holding something like this next to this.
We can do this on the internet, but not in the store.
That's why we're audio only on the store.
Woohoo! But
they just get to guess what we're talking about. Like if I were to do this, they wouldn't know.
They have no idea.
See, they...
You have plastic in there?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, that's where I always keep my plastic.
Why do you have plastic in the first place is the real question. I've always got plastic. That's where I've always kept my plastic. Well, that's not the question. The question is why you keep plastic.
I'm going to have to start avoiding the question.
I'm not taking questions today.
That is enough questions for this meeting.
Start just being like the president, like, yes, I'm not taking any questions today.
I cannot take questions today because I have huge responsibilities.
Have you seen...
I need to go be great.
Have you seen the trailer for Logan?
I have not seen... I've seen pictures, and I still don't believe that's actually Hugh Jackman.
It's like old Hugh Jackman if he was like 1,000, but it looks...
Which technically Logan could be that
I guess that's kind of true. It looks like it's going to be the first good Wolverine movie.
Oh, heavens. We need a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
They've all been so bad.
Wolverine has always been this, like, really cool...
He's
like,
a rogue character.
Relatable, like, cool character trapped in this awfully bad movie. Like...
Well, then the one where he goes to Japan...
Oh, that was so bad.
That's probably just one of the worst films I've ever seen.
So bad.
It's like, hey, I'm in Japan. Look, you're attractive. I guess I'll fight the Japanese mafia to save you for no reason whatsoever.
My favorite memory of watching that was like after, like when they're about to have sex. Sorry for spoilers.
When they're about to just go the extra mile.
My cousin said something that just was very apropos. He said, I was with your grandfather in the war.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Those movies were so bad though. Like,
I understand that in the comics Logan like has sex with everyone, but really like I think women should be more discerning of the fact that he's like 200 years old.
If not more. Well, and not just that, but just a bad person.
He's not a good person.
He's just not a good human being.
Like he's a cool character. He's a good character because he feels human. He feels very like human in the way that he's not flawed in a stupid way.
Yeah.
He's flawed in a realistic way.
In a very realistic way. He's just a bad person.
Yeah, and it's like he does good guy stuff because he's an immortal that everyone bothers him about doing good stuff, and he's just tired. He just does the good guy stuff to make them leave him alone,
basically,
because he just
he's like, is this going to make you walk away? Yeah. All right, I'll kill him. No, those movies have been just...
He's always been trapped, like, from the first X-Men movie. You watch that and you're like, wow, Logan's a douchebag. But you're like, oh, Professor X and Logan are cool characters because they're, like, cool actors.
Yeah.
But this whole movie is, like, kind of a flustercluck. And then the second one happened, and then the third one happened, and then like
They
the
just-
origins happened.
Oh
They
my
kept going.
Goodness. Like the X-Men movies, in my opinion, haven't been bad. Like I loved X-Men First Class, and I may have cried in it at the very end. Like that was rough. That hurt. Have you seen it?
That's the one in the 60s, right?
The one where they go back in time, where it's kind of like back in time for they're all younger.
It's like they don't go back in time.
Yeah, it's just back in
happens
time.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
Oh my gosh, when they all die at the end. Oh my gosh, I was like, cause like I grew up watching the X-Men cartoon. Like,
The X-Men
all
cartoon.
the time.
That was another one that wasn't allowed.
I loved it so much. Like I always watched it, and so I'm watching all of like my childhood. Like I've always been a huge X-Men fan. If I could have had any superpower, I'd be Storm. I've always known I had to have Storm's power.
So you'd be a really, really smoking hot black woman.
Yeah.
That is such a good superpower. I would have that superpower.
But
Have you seen that woman?
dude, Halle Berry is a beautiful human being.
But and with white hair too.
But so like when I'm watching them just all get killed, because the Sentinels, whatever they were in that movie, another movie, what was it, an Avengers movie used like the exact same enemy. Now I can't remember anyways, but
Really?
I legitimately was just like, no, like, just like all of my childhood heroes just getting obliterated. Like, not even a chance. Oh, I was so in pain. I was so unhappy. Yeah, it hurt. That hurt. That was a painful moment in my life.
See, what I remember from the end of that movie is when the like secret agent woman shoots.
Secret agent man.
She like shoots Magneto's helmet, and it ricochets and it hits Professor Xavier in his spinal column, thus paralyzing him. I remember seeing that scene and thinking, oh, hey, no, this is kind of like Star Wars 1, 2, 3, where it's like when he catches on fire and loses all of its arms, it's like, that was the point of this whole trip, was to get him into the
was to
Darth
paralyze Xavier.
to make the whole thing comes down to this moment. Now he's in the wheelchair. Good, we can advance. Into forward into time.
Where did that piece of plastic go?
In my pocket.
No,
That's where I got my plastic. Remember?
I had my own plastic. You don't have any plastic.
You don't know that.
I do. Touched your pocket.
Um,
But no, that movie was so good though. But no, so the X-Men movies, in my opinion, have all been great. Except for the fact that Jennifer Lawrence is in them. I don't like her as Mystique at all. I hated that she was in it because
do you feel like she was cast in that movie because
she was Jennifer Lawrence?
she had become insanely popular?
100%. Well, and you can go back and watch the movie. They give her pointless lines, just like they did with Will Smith in The Suicide Squad. They give him pointless lines. Why? Because of who they are as actors. And so Jennifer Lawrence...
They gave her screen time that was just her being naked and blue.
Yeah.
Because they knew everyone was like foaming at the mouth for Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, I just call them pointless lines. Like, because they don't help the story. They don't even help the movie. They almost hurt the actor. It's such a bad part of whatever it was. Like,
I don't think a lot of people that are like Jennifer Lawrence fans remember that movie.
X-Men?
They don't actively dislike it. They just don't talk about it, so it will fade into obscurity.
Just kind of fade into the oblivions. Just walk backwards into the ether. But like, it just... And as soon as I saw that Will Smith... And I haven't watched the Suicide Squad yet, but it has been confirmed to me that I was correct in my presumption that when I first saw that Will Smith was going to be in that movie, I was like, they're going to give him pointless lines. They're going to give him dialogue and stuff to do just because it's Will Smith. And I've talked to a bunch of people now who have said, yeah, it's basically a Will Smith movie. Like, there's a couple characters on the Suicide Squad they don't even talk about, apparently. I was like...
From what I understand, the only two characters that are actually characters are... one, Deadshot, because he's Will Smith, and two, Harley Quinn, because she has boobs.
Yeah, I mean, because it's Harlow, whatever her name is. But, yeah, it's just these pointless lines. Just pointless dialogue, pointless whatever.
That is one thing I remember from, I can't remember if it was the first or the second J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, there was a scene where like a blonde chick says to Captain Kirk not to look because obviously she's going to change, because that's the thing that women do, is change in the same room as a dude.
I mean, yeah, it happens to me daily.
And then there's just a shot of her in like her underwear, where her only reaction to Captain Kirk watching her change is, "I told you not to look."
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the only thing that happens in that scene, and then they move on to the next thing, and it's like, what purpose does this even serve?
You didn't even do anything. You just did nothing. You fulfilled a 90s trope. That's all you did.
And it's not the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
Some things need to stay in the past.
Like the past, like just everything. If it's from the 90s, it just never come back up.
Only awesome 90s kids remember.
Well, except for 90s Top Gun's beach volleyball scene. That should always come back up.
I actually haven't seen Top Gun yet.
I don't. It means nothing to me because I don't think it's the greatest movie ever.
All I know is that my sister really likes it. I think she might have had like a lady boner for young Tom Cruise.
Everyone did. Even though, what's his name? Val Kilmer was definitely the heartthrob in that movie. Because Val Kilmer was in the movie.
So like, the first Tom Cruise movie I remember seeing was Minority Report. And then after that, I didn't see any others until, like, Oblivion. And then later, Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. And then, like...
The movie was interesting.
I really liked Oblivion.
I liked Oblivion.
Oblivion is so good.
Edge of Tomorrow was...
I liked Edge of Tomorrow,
good,
too.
Just not... It wasn't Oblivion. I thought Oblivion was really cool.
Dude, Joe Kosinski, even though he's only directed 2 movies, Oblivion and Tron Legacy, he's probably one of my all-time favorite directors.
Really?
Like, both of his movies are just so well done. Anyway, so I was used to like 50-year-old Tom Cruise and what 50-year-old Tom Cruise looks like, and then
which is a 25-year-old Tom Cruise.
I went back and I watched Mission Impossible for the first time after that, and I was like watching it, I was like, he doesn't look different. But he really does.
But he really does.
It's like he looks the same, but he also looks the same while being a teenager.
It's weird, huh?
It's like, he's definitely not 18 in this movie, but he looks like he's 18, but he also looks like he's 50.
Yeah, like, he has a weird... The man ages in the weirdest way.
I think it's the Scientology.
It's keeping him young and alive. But, have you seen the trailer for the movie Split?
I have not.
That looks cool. So, the only reason I don't want to watch it is because it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, Ding Dong.
Ooh.
And literally...
Big mistake letting people know who directed it.
Yeah, for real. Did you know?
Gotta do it like After
Earth, yeah. The movie he directed called After Earth, he didn't even put his name on.
Can you imagine?
Because he knew people wouldn't go watch it.
Can you imagine being in that situation? Like...
I just start directing.
Your career is so in the toilet that you're like...
That you know that if you put your name on something, it won't sell.
And then so you don't let people know until after the fact.
And even then it was still
And people
bad.
still didn't like it.
Yeah, it was... I didn't even watch it, but I heard it was just
I checked it out
so
on DVD
bad.
from the library. I got it home.
Not Laserdisc?
Well, unfortunately, the library doesn't have those anymore. But so I checked it out from the library, and I got home with it, and my cousin was like, "You're gonna watch this? It's just a Scientology movie. Like, nobody liked this." And I looked at it, and I was like, "I could still give it a chance." No.
No, did you not watch it?
I didn't watch it. I don't know what After Earth is like.
You rented it and never watched it.
Yeah.
Well, it's got Jaden Smith, who, in my opinion, is just the worst actor in the world. Like, everything he's done has just been terrible. I didn't like him in Karate Kid. I thought he was garbage.
He was in the Karate Kid
He was
movie?
in the new Karate Kid movie. Like, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's such a good actor. He's so cute." I was like, "No, he was so bad." Like,
when I hear the name Jaden Smith, all I think about are his Twitter posts, his tweets. And how monumentally
stupid,
moronic
it is.
all of them are.
Me and my sister made our own school.
And there's a quote, a quote from Will Smith in an interview where he talks about. I'm not sure if he was directly responding to a question about Jaden Smith's tweets, but what he says is, when I was that old, I said stupid stuff too. I just did it in private.
That's awesome. Poor Jaden Smith. Even your dad thinks you're an idiot. But yeah. So I don't think he's a good actor.
I feel like he
actor.
never wanted to be an actor. I feel like it's just like he is the son of Will Smith.
Well, you know Will Smith has another son, right?
Yeah, and he's like 30 years old.
Yeah.
And
has a career.
What's that guy's name?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who
Nobody
knows?
cares.
We only know Jaden and Willow.
Especially not Will.
Yeah.
Will doesn't care.
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth.
What a legacy.
I know, right? So glad I don't have kids. I'm really actually happy I don't have kids. You don't have to punch me. I'm telling you the truth right now.
No, I was just indicating that it looked like you had one on the way.
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm going to drown him in the toilet.
Good.
But
make it look like a miscarriage. Oh, too dark.
But
sorry everybody.
Sorry everybody. You guys, just a quick plug. Go check out the Employees Games of the Month section on the wall. See what cool new games are up there. I've checked them out a couple times. I think I've actually may have bought one, but I can't remember. I don't have a list of them with me. But go check them out. Also, don't forget to get your Magic cards tonight. I know there's still draft stuff going on. Actually, the drafting part might be over. Good luck, everybody that's out there. Go buy more Magic cards. Make sure you're getting that stuff so you can win. But do you ever play much Magic? Did we already talk about Magic?
We did talk about in the pilot episode.
In our pilot episode,
we talked about Magic the Gathering, and the only trading card game I've ever air quotes played was Yu-Gi-Oh, and the air quotes are there because it was like I was kind of like not really paying attention, and I had this deck that my cousins had given to me out of like their leftovers, and I was playing with my cousin, and he knew the rules, and he kept like being like, "Okay, it's your turn." Oh, I do that.
I'll do that move. Yeah.
Kept being like, this card has an effect, blah blah blah. Oh right, that effect happens. Yes. Like
this effect.
I remember watching kids play Yu-Gi-Oh, watching kids playing Pokemon, the trading card game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I watched kids playing the Game Boy game as well, but
you never played Pokemon on the Game Boy?
So okay, the story
you
you
haven't played any Pokemon games.
I have actually. I've played several of the video games. It's just at the time, I did not have a Game Boy. My older brother had a Game Boy Pocket.
Nice.
No, I'm not that old. We were just behind the times.
He's that old.
Yeah, no, look at me, I'm ancient.
I had a Game Boy. I had an original Game Boy.
You probably didn't get it at the point in your life that my brother got his Game Boy Pocket.
I think I was 8 when we had it.
Yeah, my brother got his Game Boy Pocket when he was in like 6th grade.
Nice. Oh, the Game Boy Pocket.
So he got that, and our cousin had a copy of Pokemon Blue that he let my brother borrow, and I was not, like, we were not on good terms, my brother and I, at that point in our lives. So it was like 2 months after my brother had completely finished Pokemon Blue, he let me borrow his Game Boy Pocket,
but like, not Pokemon
regularly Blue. So that I could play Pokemon Blue.
Yeah.
And before I could finish, because I was really bad at that kind of video game that needed the thinking, the brain power.
Yeah, because Pokemon requires so much thinking.
More thinking than I was willing to give it. Before I could finish it, it needed to go back to my cousin. So it wasn't until high school when I had a Game Boy Advance, not an SP, just a Game Boy Advance.
Which are the better ones in my opinion. Other than there's no backlight, I thought the Advance was better than the SP.
I like the shape of it so much better.
I don't like moving parts. That's why I have a 2DS.
But I had the Game Boy Advance, and then I bought Sapphire for $10 from my friend.
Nice.
And played the heck out of that. I got to the point where, like, all I was doing, because there was no Pokemon Frontier in Sapphire or Ruby, I was only in Emerald, because screw you, Game Freak. Anyway, I would just take my most powerful Pokemon and I would beat the Elite Four over and over and over again.
Wow.
And then in like 2013, my brother, my cousin, and I were living together in an apartment at that point, and we all went out and we got. I and my brother got Black 2, and my cousin got White 2, and we all played through that together.
Do you still have Black at all?
I do.
Can I borrow it? Is it for the DS?
Yeah.
Can I borrow it? I've never been able to play that one. I've always wanted to. I played the crap out of the card game. I never got to play the Game Boy. And they're impossible to find in stores. I have never seen a Black or White in store.
It's Black 2.
That's fine. As long as I can have Emboar and Oshawott and Snivy. I don't even care.
So, hey, you probably can borrow that. It's not like, for 2 seconds it would be like, oh, but then he'd have to delete my save. Because Pokemon will not get with the times and allow you to have multiple save states.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
But really, I haven't really played it in like
a very long time.
Like a year and a half. So you could probably borrow it and start your own file.
I'd let you play one of my Pokemon games, but I only have one anymore, and it was a digital download. So
is it on the SD card in your 2DS?
Yeah. So it came with the 2DS actually. It came as like a preloaded game on the 2DS when I got my DS.
Which one is it?
It is X.
The game that is the reason the 2DS exists.
Was X and Y?
Yeah, so Pokemon X and Y was coming out, and like this was back when a lot of people were still only had like a DS Lite or a DSi, and Nintendo knows the power of Pokemon. So,
oh, dude, yeah, like Pokemon is their deity, basically.
Like 2 months before X and Y came out, they released the 2DS. Guess what, guys? You can get a brand new device that will play Pokemon X and Y, and it's cheaper, and look at that, it's your solution.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, holy crap, I was gonna hold off because I didn't want to go buy an expensive 3DS, but now there's the 2DS. Oh, I'm gonna go buy that so I can buy Pokemon.
I did it. Well, I didn't do it for Pokemon. I did it because I wanted the new handheld, but I didn't want a 3DS.
Yeah.
I just didn't want a 3DS because I don't like... First of all, the 3D makes me want to throw up after about 5 minutes. Like, it's super cool, and Nintendo, you did like a really good job, especially on the new 3DS XLs. Like, it looks incredible. It really does, but it makes me want to throw up after about 5 minutes. It just nauseates me.
Oh, man.
And it looks really cool. And I love how big the new 3DS XLs are. Like, I wish they had a 2DS XL, but they never will. I just don't like moving parts. Which is why I wanted the solid piece handhelds. That's why I went with the 2DS, because I don't like the moving parts.
So, when I got my 3DS, it was for Smash Bros.
I have Smash Brothers too. We can play together!
Yeah! Boy!
Now we need to.
But so maybe we can do that next episode.
We can just play Smash Brothers the whole episode.
I have this thing where like if there's a better one, I need to have it.
I'm kind of the same way.
So it's like I could have gotten a used or refurbished 3DS. But I was like, no, I need a 3DS XL.
I do want the XL though, because that screen is huge.
And my cousin had already gotten a 3DS.
Yeah.
And
you had to be better than him.
No, it's when I got the 3DS XL, he said, I can never play games on it because it will ruin me.
I'll never be able to go back to my own handheld. I'll be stuck.
And it's great. So I have the XL, which is bigger, harder to fit into a pocket, but I've made it even bigger because.
How did you make it bigger?
So when you hold, I don't know about the regular 3DS or like the new 3DS XL, but the 3DS XL, for games where you need to be using the triggers, like you basically need to be like constantly driving the front corners of it into your hand.
Yeah. Because of my 2DSs as well.
So I got a thing which.
I have that thing for my 2DS. I know what you're talking about.
It
that
clamps
back plate.
It clamps onto the bottom of it. It turns the triggers into like full-size triggers like off
yeah,
of
like
controller.
a controller, and it kind of
adds
contours.
It adds like the shape of a mouse.
Yeah,
on either corner.
Yeah.
And it's so nice, but it's like I need cargo pants to take that anywhere anymore.
I need a backpack. See, I can't use mine anymore. Like I never really could because the left trigger on my little adapter, it sticks.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's so stupid, so I can't even use it. Like it's super nice. I love having it on there, but I can't use it because the trigger sticks.
See, from the factory, one of the triggers from the factory, like everybody that did reviews of this product talked about it. The trigger would stick.
Really?
But I opened up the mechanism for this trigger, and it's like one of the plastic.
Centroid of the mechanism. Sorry.
Oh, Treasure Planet.
Sorry.
Holy
You
crap.
said mechanism, and I immediately was like, the centroid of the mechanism.
Oh, man, Treasure Planet. But anyway. Like, one of the pieces is too long, which is why it sticks. Okay. So I took a nail file, and I filed the plastic down like a millimeter, and now it works perfectly fine.
Maybe I should try to open up the thing and do the stuff.
The centroid of the mechanism?
The centroid of the mechanism.
Big door opening and then closing and then opening and then closing.
Oh, what a great movie. I'm super gassy. It's not going to happen, but now your mic might smell.
I pointed my microphone at your dick and now it smells.
But I can't remember what we're talking about now. Pokemon.
Yeah.
I do want to play Sun and Moon. I haven't gotten to yet, but I really want to play it.
Now, so I'm not sure about this. Do you need the new one, or will it work on the standard?
Wait, what do you mean?
Because there's the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL.
Oh, it'll work on the regular. It'll work on 2DS.
Okay. So, I think I need to look into this and talk about it next episode. But like, everybody's consoles are doing this thing right now where it's like, instead of a new one, it's like the same but slightly better.
Yeah.
Like the new 3DS XL, the PlayStation Neo.
Well, it's kind of what they did with a lot of things. I mean, there was the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3 Fat, PlayStation 3 Slim, PlayStation...
See, but the Slim...
3 whatever. Like, there was like 5 PlayStation 3s, and there's a bunch of Xbox 360s.
See, but that's just like PlayStation 3, but now a little smaller, and it doesn't melt itself.
Well, and then they had the PlayStation 3 Fat, though, as well, which is a different one.
Then there was, but with the PlayStation 4, it's like there's the PlayStation 4, and now there's the PlayStation 4
Pro.
that can do 4K and VR.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, so moving forward, are all games going to be needing that?
I sure hope not.
Are all games going to be like in 4K now, or is it going to be like, well, some games are going to have the option for 4K, and it gets confusing.
I don't think VR is even a viable expenditure of money. I feel like VR is a waste of time. I think it's cool. It's gimmicky. It's just a cooler looking version of the Wii.
So, okay.
Imagine how cool Wii Bowling was for about 40 minutes, right? That's what VR is going to be, because you can only stand in place and do nothing or sit on a rail shooter.
Here is where there's a very specific kind of game that VR will work really well
Racing.
for. Any game where you're in a vehicle.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in
Get
a
yourself
cockpit,
in a cockpit.
like a mech game or Elite Dangerous where you're in a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
A game where the character that you're playing is sitting
stationary.
down will work very well, and really it'll be really cool what developers can do with that.
Now you
in
walk
VR.
into this Jaeger.
Call back.
You walk into, like, you step into this Jaeger and you're just like, you're in it, you know, because like it's all around you now, and you have the separate, you know, the dual controllers or whatever, and so you're holding one here, and you gotta like do like things or whatever. Just hopefully just move the joysticks, but like even a racing game. That would be incredible, like stepping into like a Lamborghini, and just like seeing it all around you.
And like you have like a racing seat with a racing wheel.
Yeah, you got like one of the DLXRs
pedals.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be insane. That'd be so much cooler. I would play racing games all the time if that could be if that could be a thing. Because I mean, even if it was like if they did Mario Kart in VR, I would.
See, but then like
I died. That would be amazing.
Then like your point of view is the chase cam on the Lakitu in the cloud.
Dude, no. Point of view would be in the cart. You are a cart driver
so
now.
would the big like would you be able to see Mario's nose and mustache?
Sure hope not. No, dude, like if you
Immersion ruins.
If you could do like a me and like get into like a Mario Kart and actually Mario Kart race, and then like say you're like driving, you have to like actually throw your hand or something like that to throw a shell or whatever. Like maybe not that much, but that would be so cool because like you're like looking behind you, you're like seeing shells and like jumping, sliding to get out of the way of like a red shell.
You know what you just reminded me of?
What?
Pre-release promotional material for Xbox Connect.
Oh my gosh!
I remember seeing that back when it was called Codename Project Natal.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh!
There's this footage of this guy going like pantomiming like he's in a car, and then he's like reaching down and changing gears.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it simultaneously thinking
that would be
that
cool.
looks cool, and
but
that's not real.
It's like when they're at E3 and they're always like, "This is them playing live right now." It's like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No one buys that. You don't have to say it anymore. We don't believe you, even at all. So,
I believe it when a video game company says this is all captured in engine, not pre-rendered. I don't believe it when a video game company says these are not actors.
These are not actors. They're doing this live right now. It's like technically they are doing a live right now, but they're acting live while watching a video of somebody else who has already played this part. Good job though. You know, they're just kind of holding the controller and not really doing anything.
Whoa, look at this.
That's my favorite, is to try to time up like joystick movements like at E3 with actual movements on the screen. I'm like, nope. That's not even kind of what he did, but whatever.
Your older brother handed you that controller and said you were playing Player 2, didn't he?
It's like unplugged.
But
no,
you're playing as the Dragonfly.
Could you imagine like a Diddy Kong Racer where you get like the airplane and you're like in VR though? Like
I'm imagining VR but like N64 graphics now.
Yeah, that'd still be so fun. I could still get behind that for like if it was a cool game like that, but no, they keep wanting to make these rail shooters like, stand in this place and survive hordes of zombies that just run at you and there's nothing else you can do. That's stupid.
What I want from like a VR shooter is I want like the prop motion control gun thing, but I want it to have a joystick for my thumb so I can move myself around.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want the omnidirectional like treadmill to walk on. I don't want that. Like
that's a waste. I mean, nobody wants that. That's a huge clunky piece of 80s material. That's an 80s material thing.
If you want to do VR like that, it's gonna have to be like Sword Art Online mode. where it's like you just go unconscious and you wake up in the video game, which
would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Or
but
Ready Player One.
It's never going to happen.
Oh no, we're never gonna get.
There's so many even FDA and FCC things that you have to go through.
Yeah, we'll never be able to get neurotaps. Like that's just.
And aside from that, would you do that?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Really though, would you be amongst the first to use that technology? I'm not talking about buying a unit used after the technology's been proven for a few years.
That's a good question.
I'm talking about being the first person to be like, okay, this helmet will put me into a coma. Supposedly, I will experience a video game world on the other end of that coma.
If I could be more assured that it would be more like Ready Player One and less like SOA or SAO, then I'd be completely game. Because I don't want an SAO experience. I don't want to have to die in the game and die in real life.
See, all I can think about when I imagine a full dive video game experience is I never know when I need to poop. So what happens if 30 minutes into
Well, see, that's Ready Player One assesses that problem, and that's where they make their special gaming chairs and their special gaming suits.
Their catheters?
I don't know about that, but... But I mean, I think I could still. Well, see, with Ready Player One, it's not a coma. It's a complete immersion VR experience, and so
it just sort of tricks your mind.
Essentially, yeah, because you know how Nintendo had the Power Glove. That's basically they have a power suit, and so you sit in a chair and you can do hand motions or whatever. You have to know the hand motions you're playing the game. But because it's so far in the future, these actually work.
It's not the 1980s.
It's not the 80s anymore.
It's not the Power Glove.
And so then you put on the headset, and then it feels like you are there. But you're just still sitting in your chair. So you're not in a coma. You can still feel yourself and things like that. I would prefer something more like that. A neurotap would be sweet if we ever got to the safe enough realm of technology. I think I could be okay with that, but I mean, in our lifetime, that will never happen.
An interesting version of that kind of video game technology to me was in this show on 4Kids.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I watched 4Kids shows.
We're all disappointed in you.
Yeah.
The only reason I watch 4Kids is because they do English dubs of the shows I want to watch.
No, but it was the show that wanted to be like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon, but it just never...
Was it called Pokemon?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, Flame War. I preferred Digimon.
Yeah, I was a Digiboy.
That was the show. That was the show that always got me in trouble. That was the one that made me break the rule of Fox Kids. But anyway. So in this show called Chaotix, that was supposed to be
I know what Chaotix is.
This was supposed to be a mixture of Pokemon Snap and Yu-Gi-Oh! Was kind of if you boil it down.
So a good game and a bad game put together.
So the characters in this show have these devices that are a little bit like communicators. You know what I'm talking about?
Was it like a Pokedex?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Chaotidex?
Yeah, and it would take a neuroscan of them or something, and it would make a copy of their consciousness that would be in the video game world. And then when that copy of their consciousness was ready, it would send the memories of the experiences that the virtual version of themselves had into the real version. So all of a sudden it's whoa, this crazy adventure I had, except I was in the real world
not doing anything
the whole time. And then now I remember having this adventure.
That's weird.
It's weird, but I think if there's ever going to be anything like Sword Art Online, that's more likely.
Yeah.
Because there's no danger there.
That's true. I mean, because you're not basically putting yourself into an induced coma for X amount of time and
2 years.
Hoping you're in a feeding tube.
Hoping you're not in an anime.
Yeah, hoping your family has enough money to keep you on life support while you play this video game for 2 years
holy
straight.
crap! What happened to all the people that didn't have health insurance? That's my question.
They just fell over dead.
They were just like, they got carted out of the hospital with their helmet on and left in a back alley to slowly die.
Can you imagine? Because they never addressed feeling hunger in real life when you're in the game. So if you starve to death in real life, you'd just be going along. You'd just be like, chill.
Yeah.
And then you'd just be gone. You'd just be done. Like, yeah, I don't want to be an SAO. I love that show, though. Well, I love the first 15 episodes.
Yeah, I think everybody did. And some people liked after that. And, you know, that's their right.
It's their right.
They're wrong. But
you're allowed to like what you're like.
Yes.
You're wrong, but you're still allowed to.
I mean, I haven't even watched Ruby, and this guy still talks to me.
Somehow. Yeah. I really do think if you liked SAO, I think that you would appreciate Ruby. Because, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch a lot of anime, and so I know that there's some animes that are just very
bad.
Well, I'm not going that way. I'm going like they're very anime. They follow all the tropes. They follow all the stereotypes.
The most anime of anime.
Is anime, yeah. And so that's kind of what Ruby does to a sense, but it's not. Like, they stay away from a lot of the sexual tropes.
That's always good.
Which is nice, yeah, because...
That's like my least favorite part of anime.
I agree. I mean, they still give Yang some large tracts of land.
Do they give Yang some wang?
No. They still give her large tracts of land, but it's not a point of conflict or context 90% of the time. There's one time...
They're not water balloons.
Yeah. And they're not, like... They just don't address stuff like that all the time, and so they really try to focus on the character development and the story, which I know is not... I mean, not all anime does that, but when people think about anime, that's a lot of what they think of.
Like, I think what they think about is Naruto. Or DBZ.
I don't know. I think when they think about it, they'll think about those things. But when you just say the word anime, people are like, "Oh, it's just sex and boobs and blah blah blah." It's like, no, anime is actually incredibly intelligent. Have you ever seen Death Note? Didn't think so.
Oh.
Have you seen it, right?
I've seen the beginning of it, but so I need the main character to be a good guy. Like, a lot of people aren't that way, and I understand that, but like, I couldn't keep watching it because I was like, I hate you.
You hate Light Yagami.
I hate you like Yagami. I hate you so much. I want you to fail. I don't want you to succeed.
You should finish it. I
think I'm gonna wiki the ending.
I could tell you the ending, that way you can finish it. Because even if I tell you the ending, like, it's still very much a beautiful series. But do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't succeed, obviously. He fails and gets killed. But leading up to everything is still an incredible...
Doesn't L die?
Yeah.
See, that bothers me too much.
Which is just, yeah.
That bothers me too much.
When he died, I was like, what? Excuse me? No, but yeah, so... Spoiler alerts if you haven't watched it. And Death Note's not even one of, like, the great animes. Like, it's just an anime that I personally really love. It was one of my first actual animes.
I don't know, man. It's a pretty popular anime.
It is, but I know that there's...
Do you know it has a musical?
Yeah, dude.
A live-action musical adaptation?
Yeah. And they're making a second live-action movie, too.
Why, though?
Because the first one was terrible.
Like, has there ever been a good live-action anime adaptation? I'm hopeful for the Ghost in the Shell movie that's coming out.
I'm hopeful as well.
My cousin, who's an animator, thinks it's going to be horrible, and he thinks it's just a Scarlett Johansson vehicle. But
That's another concern of mine as well.
Yeah, no, like, I hope that's not what it is.
Did you ever see it was a Scarlett Johansson movie. It was like basically they unlock her. She basically gets used as a pack mule for some drugs, right?
Uh-huh.
And it leaks. But it's like a super drug that like unlocks her mind, and she starts to become like hypersentient essentially, and can like see streams of data, and just starts to become everything while she just disintegrates. Her physical form goes away, and she just becomes entity essentially.
Huh.
It was actually a really cool film. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was a really interesting. It was a really interesting film. I was really quite impressed. The animation wasn't amazing. Like, a lot of it was kind of cheesy. You could tell
So
it was
animated.
kind of. No, it wasn't animated, but like the CGI.
Right. Okay.
The CGI was kind of cheesy, and you can tell it was a lower budget film. But like, all in all, I really thought it was a good movie.
You know,
So
I have to admit, despite her being like one of the only actresses I can think of that I have a crush on, I haven't seen many of her movies.
Emma Stone and Emma Watson.
See, Emma Watson is cute, but I mean that's kind of where it is. It's like she's cute. I'm not gonna say she's ugly, and I'm not gonna say she's super overrated. But I am gonna say I don't really understand how like suddenly everybody thought she was like a sex god.
Oh, I've had a crush on her from when I was in elementary in the first Harry Potter.
Hermione.
Yeah, no, when I was like 12, I had a crush on Hermione. That's
See,
not even a joke.
I feel like it wasn't until after she had finished being Hermione that all of a sudden everyone was like, "Oh, she's so sexy."
I agree, but no, I love Emma Stone. Oh, I love her. I love her voice. Oh, dude, everything about that woman.
So I know some 48-year-old smokers I can introduce you to.
Dude, Emma Stone does not have a 48-year-old smoker's voice. She just has a nice, soothing voice. It's not this whiny voice. You're wrong. You're just wrong. Anyway, back to the movies.
She also always makes me think of just how much of a douche Peter Parker was in The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
You mean by not letting her live?
No, just every action he took. He was a douchebag.
You mean by letting her fall to her death? That was kind of a jerk move.
He got bored with her. Peter Parker in that movie.
He wanted it to look like an accident.
He got bored with what's her name? Gwen Stefani?
Gwen Stacy?
Oh. Close enough.
I mean, it'd be nice if it was Gwen Stefani. I don't think he would have gotten bored at that point.
No, he gets bored with her. And so, like, instead of being like, get the F away from this dangerous situation, what the F are you doing here? He's like, oh, no, I'll let her help.
Yeah.
I'll let her help so she can die.
It's basically his policy. So I did not, because I don't know much about Gwen Stacy. I had no idea knowing much about Gwen Stacy going into the movie, because the Peter Parker I watched on cartoons growing up was him and Mary Jane.
Tobey Maguire?
Yeah. Well, I love the Tobey Maguire movies. I don't care what anybody says. I still think they're great. I know that the second one has that weird. They all have a couple weird scenes where it's just like these are worthless scenes and it makes the movie kind of dumb. But I loved all the Tobey Maguire movies. But I mean, even before that, like the cartoons, like the Peter Parker I grew up with, it was him and Mary Jane all the time. That was it. And so going in with Gwen Stacy, I had no idea who she was. I was completely oblivious. And so when she died, I think I cried in the theater because it's such a shocking scene too, because like cameras all of a sudden pulled out and you see her just and just like hang a little bit over the ground, and I'm like, what?
All I remember, what I remember is when the movie was about to come out, like everybody that I talked to about it, already knew she was going to die because of comic books.
Yeah.
And B, told me that she was going to die.
Oh, see, I had no idea.
And so when I finally watched the movie, like, I don't know, like a year ago, from the library, I do that. It was like...
I didn't know you could still rent things from the library. I use Netflix so much.
That scene came up and I was like, oh, the web turns into a hand. And I was just like, this is stupid. This is so contrived. Like, you're trying to convince me that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is really sad about this. Like, truly saddened that she's dead.
Truly saddened.
Like, he was happy. Like,
you're a terrible person.
He wasn't letting on, but he was happy that she was going away to college. Like, for a while, he was being a dick and trying to throw a wrench into things to try and purposefully make her not go away, but then he realized, oh, no, wait,
I don't think he was happy that she died, though.
I'm not saying he was happy that she died. I'm saying he was happy that she was leaving, but then she's like, she stops when the cab gets caught in traffic and she runs out to help him, and he's like, shoot, what am I gonna do now?
Kill you. There we go. Got it.
I'm not gonna actively kill you. I'm just gonna fail to save you.
But I mean, I had no idea because I never watched The Incredible Spider-Man. I watched The Amazing Spider-Man. So that whole universe was aloof to me. And I know that Gwen Stacy comes into the other Spider-Mans as well, but I also
remember everybody talking about Spider-Gwen and there's a universe where Gwen Stacy is Spider-Man.
There is. I read the comic books.
And I remember thinking, like, every time I heard someone talking about the words that would come to mind are, comics are stupid.
No. Spider-Gwen, in my opinion, is the greatest spider hero
I don't
universe.
care if Spider-Gwen is cool. What I'm bothered by with comic books is that they will not just calm down and have one reality. No, it's like, this is the reality where, like, Batman's mother is the Joker and Bruce Wayne is the one that got shot.
See,
it's his dad that's Batman.
You have to be careful, though, because different universes will be spawned around different comic books. So Spider-Gwen is a completely different universe from Peter Parker. So in that universe...
I know.
Okay, and so... I don't know. That's kind of like been a big thing with Marvel specifically, is having this multiverse situation. Because in a lot of comic books, they actually bring it together. There's one comic book about Spider-Man called Spider Island, where like all the Spider-Men get together essentially, and they're all there.
So it's like an episode of Rick and Morty.
Basically.
Except it's not in like a tongue-in-cheek comedy. So like, why the F did this happen?
And Spider-Pig's a real thing. You know how like Homer says like Spider-Pig?
Yeah.
No, Spider-Pig's a real thing. That's where Gwen Stacy Spider-Gwen got the Spider-Gwen name from, is from Spider-Pig.
So she got Spider-Man powers from pig flu?
No, not from Pig, not from Spider-Pig, but he's basically the one that named her Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
Because of that multiverse. They all just intertwine. The negative zone, dude, I mean, once you get into comics, they go deeper. They just go so deep.
Yeah, but so does the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, but these are fun and not stupid.
I don't know, man.
These aren't a chasm in the earth.
I don't know. I think to an extent comics are a chasm in the earth.
I do agree that some of the comic superheroes they're coming out with are a little bit
like, okay, so
interesting.
Let me try and use a real world example to explain the problem I have with all the multiverses. It's like recently, like in the last 3 years, I can't remember when this story broke, but it was like, like Thor's gonna be a woman now, and it's not like the actual same person of Thor has been reimagined as a woman. It's like it's a different person with a hammer and all that. That's okay, but maybe we could have had a new superheroine to fill the same role and have like some of the same powers. Yeah. But it's not Thor.
Yeah.
Like,
just kill him. Just kill Thor off.
Like, you don't even need to have it be like she could be disassociated from the Avengers.
Well, everybody's afraid of killing off superheroes because of the Superman complex, essentially. When they tried to kill off Superman with Doomsday, everyone freaked out.
So it was like Sherlock Holmes. Arthur Conan Doyle needed to bring him back to life after he dropped him off of a mountain into a waterfall.
And so even though Doomsday did kill Superman, he also didn't kill Superman. And like they tried to bring in like Bizarro's Superman and stuff like that, and a bunch of other people tried to take Superman's role. Somehow they could just be Superman for no reason.
See, I don't know a lot about Bizarro, but I really I'm tickled by Bizarro as a concept. Like, Superman's gone, so here's this like weird zombie Superman.
Yeah, just like hi. Yeah. No, Bizarro's an interesting, but like, and so that kind of like they basically just had to bring Superman back to life. That's basically what they ended up having to do, is basically bringing him back to life, and everyone's afraid now, and so no one wants to kill off their superheroes because they don't want to be stuck without that superhero now. Because once you kill him off, You gotta kill him off.
See, but like, if you had whoever like female Thor could have been if she wasn't Thor, happen like I don't know concurrently during like the wrapping up of Thor as a series, then if she is successful as a concept and people like her as a character, then you can just have Thor like wrap up, like be like, and he lived to the end of his days reigning on Odin's throne or something. And it's not like he's dead, it's just there's no more stories about him, and now there's this other not related to something that's already been done to death character that's like something new, and maybe comics could evolve a bit and not just be like, okay, we have super strong man, we have rich man, we have man with bow and arrow,
we have richer man,
we have supernatural woman, and that's it.
See, and I think that's why I think Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse has done it. They did it right, in my opinion, because they're not trying to focus on bringing the universes together, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of saying, like, well, this is how it would be this way. And I think with
This is sort of a what-if question.
Kind of, like, and I think with, like, the woman Thor and stuff like that, they're too focused on trying to make sure she isn't Thor, but at the same time making sure she's Thor. And then putting her in the exact same universe, like with Spider-Gwen and Silk and all of those other people. Like, it's nice because it's just like, okay, this is a different universe.
Do you know there's a Spider-Man that's in like the 2080s?
Oh yeah, Noir Spider-Man.
I learned that.
Oh wait, no, that's Spider-Man.
It's like Spider-Man 2084 or something.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
I learned about that. I was like, if there was an Spider-Man comic I would read, I think it would be that, because I just like the idea of Spider-Man, but in like a 1980s science fiction film.
Oh, it's definitely the future. But there's another one. There's Noir Spider-Man, who's like in the 60s.
That's stupid.
And so, it's kind of cool because, like, his gadgets don't work all the time. Because it's the 1960s, or like, I think it's like the 1940s. Sorry, it's more like the 1940s. So it's very like.
It could be the 1940s because the war was on.
That's why I think it's the 1940s.
Oh.
And so his gadgets don't work all the time because technology's not super advanced at that time. And so sometimes he'll use his web slinger and it'll just like blow up or something like that, or it'll just like spurt, stuff like that. And so I was like, I really want to read it. The only reason I know about Noir Spider-Man is because of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, the video game. And I was like, I really want to get to know this character. He just seems really cool. Like, it seems, and he's an older guy too. He's like 40, which is another really cool thing.
Well, it's a noir.
Yeah, you have to be older, deep voice.
Can you imagine like teenage Peter Parker as the protagonist of a film noir? I can't.
But that's why I think Spider-Man did it right, because they keep their characters separate. Yes, there's a bunch of times where they bring them all together, but at the same time they make sure that they stay very, very separate.
See, in all my time of like reading graphic novels and maybe the occasional singular volume of a manga, I've only read one superhero comic, and that's because it was like it's one of the weird alternate universe comics. And the whole arc happens in a book that's about the same size and thickness as like a Dr. Seuss book.
So it's just a hardback. It's probably a full bind.
Yeah.
It's like 8 comics in one or something.
So I was like, cool. I appreciate the fact that it ends after that long. I can sit down and read the whole story in an afternoon. Mm-hmm. And it was Superman Red Sun.
I want to read that so bad.
And it's pretty good. It's interesting because
it's basically he's a Soviet.
It poses a very interesting question because Superman was the antithesis to the Red Menace.
Yeah.
He was the all-American, like,
he
super
was
powerful, super strong. He was that thing that we looked up to while he's standing in front of the waving Star-Spangled Banner.
And now he works for Soviet Russia.
And so the question that basically the whole thing hinges around is, what if Clark Kent, instead of landing in the heartland of America, what if he had landed in the Soviet Union? and he's like kind of the same kind of person. He's a guy with superpowers that thinks he needs to do good and help people, but he grows up a Soviet instead of an American.
So he says that that's the good thing to do.
Yeah, and it gets really crazy, and
They use him as a super weapon.
It's got Brainiac, and it's got Batman, and it's got the Green Lantern, and it's got Wonder Woman, and
Yeah, I've always really wanted to read Superman Red Sun.
it's really good.
It's a cool take.
Yeah, no, and I recommend it, and like the design, like the art direction of it is really cool. I kind of have a weakness for Soviet stuff. I'm not a communist. I actually really love capitalism. No, I love owning stuff and having money.
I love communism.
I could never be a communist because I love money too much.
I love my money. Why don't you have any then?
Because I love spending it on things and then
On
having
things. On
Don't
terrible
you see that?
things.
That's super capitalist right there. Like a Soviet would get money and then he'd be like, "Oh, this is the state's money," and then give it away and then go eat bread rations.
Ugh.
And then go back to the factory.
I don't even eat Buffalo Wild Wings by rations. That doesn't make much sense. I'm going to eat Buffalo Wild Wings after this show.
But yeah, so Superman Red Sun, it's got a really, really cool premise. It's got a great ending. It changes a lot of things up in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Like, Lex Luthor, his character, like, everyone's character is kind of the same, but because of the difference, like, Superman's a Soviet, or you know, Lex didn't have Superman as a local, like, force to fight against. He's like a foreign menace.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor's character is the same, like, kind of driving forces to him, but the way that manifests is a lot different because of Superman being a Soviet.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way Superman goes about trying to make the world a better place is much different because he's from the Soviet Union.
Yeah, he's from a completely different part of the world now.
Yeah. And
Can we just address the Lex Joker Luthor?
oh yeah,
That was the only... So, okay. Let me preface this a little bit.
Jesse Eisenberg.
I love Jesse Eisenberg, and
I don't know, man.
love the character he played, but I hate that they called him Lex Luthor.
So okay,
That was not Lex Luthor.
My-
But it was an amazing character.
My running theory, and I'm sure several people, I know at least two people that agree with me, is that because of the death of Heath Ledger being so recent and being tragic, even though I continually made horrible jokes about it at the time,
And continue, and still do.
still do.
Still do.
Rest his soul. Get it? Because sleep. Never mind.
I don't get it. Is it
Because
because he did drugs?
it's because sleeping medications.
So he's resting forever.
Yeah.
Now he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead now. Because of what happened to him after he did the Joker, and because even Jack Nicholson, who was the Joker before
Warned him.
he warned him. I think that all culminated in either them officially not being able to, or just everyone just kind of not wanting to do the Joker again. But they really wanted the Joker as the villain for this movie.
So they named him Lex Luthor.
So they called him Lex Luthor for this because they were like, oh, well, it's got Superman, and we can kind of make it seem like, and, you know, they wanted Heath Ledger's the Joker. That's what they wanted. Like,
100%.
I fully imagine Zack Snyder sitting down with Eisenberg and saying, okay, I want you to be like Heath Ledger's the Joker.
And he killed it. I won't lie. Jesse Eisenberg...
He did a really good Heath Ledger's Joker.
He was phenomenal. He was the only good part of the movie for me, and he was a great part of the movie.
But when you take Heath Ledger's the Joker and you try to put it into the context of a rich super genius who got where he got because he knows how to make robots and he knows how to make weapons, and you try to make that kind of a character...
It doesn't quite jive.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like... like Lex Luthor's
cool and collected.
He's like
very
cool. He's collected.
culminating.
He fights Superman because Superman is like that challenge, and being the megalomaniac super genius that he is, he's probably always searching for a challenge. And up until now, he hasn't really had one. Then he found Superman, and he's like, all right,
challenge accepted.
But they wanted a character that was like,
they wanted something more maniacal.
I'm a dog chasing cars.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know what to do if I were to catch it.
Yeah. No, they didn't. And because Lex Luthor's not that character. Lex Luthor's not that. He's just not that person. He's very cool. He's collected.
He's not the person that sends a mason jar of human urine.
Yeah.
To someone before they get blown up by a bomb that he put into a paraplegic man's wheelchair.
Yeah. Like, Lex Luthor is very cold and calculating, whereas the Joker is just out there on his sleeves.
And the thing is, it's really disappointing because after they did this movie where they wanted Heath Ledger's the Joker, but they couldn't do Heath Ledger's the Joker because Heath Ledger is dead, and that would be bad and insensitive and maybe even very dangerous.
To make a dead person play a movie?
No, just to have someone be that exact character
again.
I
thought you meant to reanimate a dead corpse.
Oh, no, that would also... No, Eisenberg did that in the movie, remember?
That's because they couldn't reanimate Heath Ledger.
Anyway, right after they made that movie, they went on and they did a movie with the Joker in it anyway.
Yeah. And like I said, he did a great job as the Joker.
But he's not.
That wasn't. And I wish they would have just been like, just kind of bitten the bullet and been like, you're the Joker. Can you do it? Will you do it? Because I bet Jesse Eisenberg would have been like, yeah, I played Mark Wahlberg. I can be the Joker. Not Wahlberg, Mark Zuckerberg. I played Mark Zuckerberg. I can be the Joker. But yeah, like you said, I think there's kind of taboo around it now.
Yeah.
To be the Joker. And I think that people are kind of...
If you're going to be the Joker, then you need to be more of the Mark Hamill Joker, and you can't be Heath Ledger Joker because that's too dangerous.
You'll die, yeah. Well, I mean, he did lock himself in a room for a month. So, we can't fully blame the character as much as we can mostly blame Heath Ledger.
Method acting.
I know, right? People trying to be entertainers.
Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it, Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, that one was hard for me, I won't lie. Because I've watched so many Robin Williams movies, Jacob the Liar, World's Greatest Dad. Everybody's like, I watched Tuck and Dead Poet Society. I was like, you haven't even seen the good ones. You haven't even seen the good ones. 1 Hour Photo.
What, no Aladdin?
Insomnia. Dude, Aladdin, of course.
What about Birdcage?
I never saw that.
It's pretty good.
Did you ever see Jacob the Liar? That is a deep movie. Watched that when I was 12. That messes with you. But yeah. Now they're all gone. And we have Batman vs. Superman 2 coming out, I think.
What a wild. Wait, how are they doing 2?
They have to incorporate Wonder Woman.
But, so wouldn't they just do a Wonder Woman movie?
They are, but I think they're also going to do another Batman v Superman movie eventually.
So, whose movie is going to be the re-animation of Superman?
I'm just glad Superman died.
After he quote unquote died. That's not gonna stay.
That's not gonna stick.
It's not gonna stick at all. That would be like if like Rhodes if they had tried to say that Rhodes had died in Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Like, and they hadn't had him in a stinger in the end. Like, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't. I like that he's even in it, kind of. Not really.
I'm glad that it wasn't like, oh, Rhodes died. It was just like, okay, Rhodes lost his legs.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, a lot of people think that Marvel Universe needs somebody to die.
It does. Someone needs to die. There's too many. It's so congested now.
So, but hear me out. Batman v Superman. So DC Comics and DC Cinematic Universe their big thing is that they're not like Marvel, who throws a cream pie in your face.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are being,
Serious.
gritty and serious.
Raw and edgy.
And like, if that's what you like, then that's what you like. If you don't like Marvel movies,
You're wrong.
then you. Yes, but
You're just wrong.
Batman v Superman was a movie that was like dark for no reason. There was no like emotional reason for the darkness. It was just like.
Well, it was dark because they got Ben Affleck in it.
It was.
That's why it was dark and dismal.
It was visually dark because it's Zack Snyder. He doesn't. He doesn't like making movies you can actually see.
He doesn't believe in lights.
Anyway, so it was like a movie where it was dark and it was gritty, but it wasn't. There wasn't really any reason for it. It was like, oh, my parents died. Oh, well, my dad died.
Stop saying that name,
Martha.
Oh my gosh.
But when in Civil War, when Rhodes is falling from the air, and you think, okay, either Sam or Tony is going to catch him, and neither of them do, it's like, whoa. And then Sam turns to Tony and he says, man, I'm sorry. And Tony just
boom
shoots him and he goes flying off screen. It's like, whoa. Like that
just got real.
That was dark, but that there was like a reason for all of that happening. Yeah. It wasn't just a couple of strong men fighting each other because they can't get over their own egos.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I remember that scene. I was just like, oh, hey, okay then.
And
just
it's like
blast him in the chest.
It's not quite as effective because the reason is much more stupid. But at the end of the film, when there's like that pause after Tony has just discovered that this whole time Steve has known about his father's death, there's that pause and he just backhands Steve. It's like, no, that makes sense.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I am continuously annoyed that Steve Rogers gets away in the movie.
Why?
He doesn't in the comic. Goes to prison.
Well, it's good that you read comics.
I know that the cinematic universe is different than, and I understand that they're separate universes, which is why I can still enjoy the movies. But when I watch movies pander to the audience so much, it bothers me. It's like, just make movies. Just make the movie you want to make and stop pandering so hard. And letting Captain America get away was the biggest pandering moment in the world because no one wanted to watch him go to prison. And everybody was always kind of rooting against Tony Stark anyways because he's the playboy guy, He's just that rich philanthropist dude.
I know a lot of people that were on Tony's side.
I was, because it's the right side.
So this is interesting. You're more so you prefer security to freedom. Because
that's not what it is. Now you're saying you're just basically copying what Steve Rogers says.
No, but
you haven't even read the comics. You're not allowed to make comments like that.
No, that's what the movie is, though. The movie is about freedom versus security.
But the movie is based off a comic.
Tony says that the world needs to be secure, and Steve says that we can't sacrifice what we need to sacrifice to have security because then there would be far too little freedom.
Which is anti-government in itself, and Steve is basically becoming. He's basically just becoming an anarchist. Because in that sentence, he's basically saying, oh, well, cops shouldn't exist because they have to follow laws in order to keep the laws, and the FBI should stop existing because they have to follow laws to keep the laws. But he's saying, but I'm above the law. I don't have to follow laws to keep the law. That's basically what happens because the original Superhero Registration Act is to train them. So because in the very first one, it shows the Young Avengers, and they're blowing stuff up, ruining things.
I've heard enough about the comics to know how very different the Civil War arc in the comics is to the movie. And honestly, I kind of am... The one thing really that disappoints me about that movie is how, I don't know, sloppily manufactured it is to get things underway for the brunt of the idea of Civil War to happen in the movie, because it's like,
yet they fall back on freaking Winter Soldier so hard.
There's no there's no horrible accident where superheroes really, it's like, they were actually doing real superhero stuff and some people died in the crossfire, and they happen to be from this magical African nation that now they're speaking out about this all because the king was there, and it's like that felt very contrived,
very forced.
Which it's like the movie is already 3 hours long, and so it's like I understand there are limitations, so I can live with that perfectly fine. But it's like I still would have preferred if there had been a more real reason for this question of should we have this registration act.
Yeah, because in the comics it's not like a one-time thing. It's not just like one incident takes place. It's kind of a culmination of a lot of things, and people are starting to say
it's like people are saying
we want these people here, but they kind of need to be on a leash a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen what happens when they're not. Superman
he doesn't exist in Marvel.
He literally tries to destroy the world, though, in DC. Literally tries to enslave the world. That is a thing that Superman tries to do.
See, but if I understand it, the reason Steve Rogers disagrees with the registration act is because they get news from the future that because all of these superheroes are registered and they're acting like government employees, they're like civil servants, like cops, that the government has turned the world into a police state and is ruling through fear.
And that is, I mean, in the comics they explain it a lot better.
And he says,
and he has they both have much more legitimate reasons for picking sides.
Says, I can't let that happen. That we can't let this happen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of still what it is in the movie, because it's like Tony is this man-child with infinite money, infinite resources. No one exists in his universe to tell him no.
What to do. Yeah.
Right? So he's always making these weird nuclear deterrents to try and solve war forever, and it always backfires. And Steve is
Ultron.
And Steve is a strong man that wants to go use the fact that he's a strong man to stop bad people from doing bad things. And it's Tony, given that his whole experience of being a superhero is so fundamentally different, he says, oh no, we need to be kept in check, when really it's Tony himself, mostly just Tony, that needs to be kept in check.
Well, and the Hulk, and essentially Thor. Both basically gods.
Well, they're rogue elements, but it's not like either of them ever made a nuclear deterrent. They just
Hulk got shipped to another planet. He screwed up so hard.
Planet Hulk.
That's
a comic I know about, but again, we're drifting into comics here. Come on.
That's true. So, and I won't lie, and I do understand that they have to have their differences and they have to have their own way, because the movies leading up to this movie have all been so different and
the end
separated.
You can't have it end with Steve being put behind bars, because Avengers 3 and then Infinity Gauntlet need to happen.
Well, Avengers Civil War 2 still happens. There's still a Civil War 2 comic book.
Yeah.
After he got put in prison. It still exists. There's still ways. He gets out. I can't remember how he gets out, but he's in the negative zone. I also thought the negative zone in the movie was dumb. Spaceship underwater. Or in the... Was it underwater? No, in the sky. That giant ship in the sky. It's basically supposed to be what the negative zone was. That's where they imprisoned everybody, remember?
Oh, the raft?
Yeah. Where Hawkeye and everybody and Ant-Man are all imprisoned. That's basically supposed to be the negative zone. But...
Is that like the Phantom Zone?
Why not? I don't like how in the movie they make you feel like you have to choose a side, because I feel like in the comic they really tried to... They didn't want you to choose a side. They wanted you to empathize for both causes. But in the movie they kept trying to push, whose side are you on? will you be? And I was like,
I can see the thing is, I can see both sides, but choosing a side, that was a marketing thing.
yeah,
That was entirely marketing, and
Yeah.
I am okay with that because it's like builds all this hype, and then everybody goes and buys tickets to this
Yeah.
3-hour long, slightly serious
Extravaganza.
superhero movie, and that's like the kind of movie I want to make eventually. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it can be successful, but it's like it's
Yeah.
marketing. It's like Team Iron Man, Team Captain America.
yeah.
Like Division makes people go and buy tickets. That's why they go to football. That's
And
why they go to baseball.
And I understand the ploy of it all. It's just, I don't know. And maybe I'm just elitist in these kind of situations. Like, I don't read a ton of comic books, but I do read some, and I read mangas every now and then as well. Like, I enjoy that side of everything. It just makes me annoyed when people just pander so much. Like, they're just treating their fans just like little dumb cookie babies that can't do anything but eat. And it's like, you can let us think. You can let us watch your movie and actually have thoughts and feelings about it without telling us how to thought and feel, you know? But I don't know, man.
I didn't feel like the end was pandery, but I did feel like it was.
I was pissed that he got away. It just pissed me off. It just really
I
annoyed
never
me.
expected him to get caught.
Really?
Having not read the comics, I never expected him to get caught.
Oh.
So here's the thing that you need to understand about me and any opinion I have about that movie. So
Because he's wrong.
I really love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really love it.
As do I.
My absolute favorite superhero, is Captain America, because he embodies everything that I, as a writer and someone who wants to make stories, see as good and moral and heroic. And I just really, I love that kind of stuff. I'm a tool for that kind of thing.
I'm a sucker for justice.
Yeah, and my favorite character is Tony Stark. My favorite hero is Captain America. My favorite Captain America. My favorite character is Tony Stark.
Tony Stark's a fun character.
Because he's a fun character, and it's like
to create.
He's a real character. One of my favorite Marvel movies is Iron Man 3, because we see a billionaire, genius, playboy, philanthropist having a mental breakdown because he went through a trans-dimensional teleportal with a nuke strapped to his back, and he didn't know that he was going to survive.
Yeah.
And he did, and we kind of all knew that because it was a movie, and I'm okay with that. But he didn't, and we see that this really, really screws
Affects
him up.
It messes with him hard.
And I really loved that Steve and Tony were just really good buddies. And when I didn't know Civil War existed, I didn't know what it was. And then when I knew about the movie, like, I always try to stay away from trailers because trailers give you the whole movie. So all I knew is that the movie was happening. I didn't realize what it was, and then a couple of my friends told me what happens in the comics, and immediately I was super dismayed because I was like, "Why them? Why do they have to fight each other?" And so while I was watching this movie, I knew it wouldn't happen, but all I wanted was for them to just be friends again.
Just to not to do it.
For them to like walk out of the smoke having slapped it out and be like, okay, we got that out of our system. We're sorry, everybody.
We're good. You guys were good.
Like, I knew it wasn't going to happen, and I'm not entirely satisfied with the ending where he like sends him a Jason Bourne
cassette
message.
tape, bullcrap, yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I'm kind of sorry.
Yeah.
And Tony's like grinning, like, oh, Steve. Like,
oh, Steve.
the fact that he almost cut Tony's head off, and then he like drops the shield as like a big old F you.
Yeah.
You can almost imagine him flipping the double deuce on the way out, like, and then to just send him a letter and be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just,
I don't know.
That whole thing just frustrated me. I wanted Steve Rogers to get the crap beat out of him. I wanted Tony to take him. I just couldn't handle it. Just bugged
So that's
me.
really the crux of what bothers you about that, is that Tony didn't win.
Is that Tony didn't win? Yeah. Tony doesn't win the fight. Like, he gets beat up and basically humiliated, which is such a jerk thing for Steve to do. Like, because he doesn't just beat him, he humiliates him. He basically leaves him immobilized. He kills his core and then just walks away, and Tony can't even move to walk after him. Like,
see, but like,
he just pulls the biggest D-bag move.
Like, the emotions are so high,
everything.
though. That specifically, I think, is realistic.
I guess, kind of. I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's like, I mean, just imagine what's
I've been
through
reading the Civil War comics literally since I graduated high school. That's almost 10 years now. I started
since
finding
1999.
yeah, which is 3 years after you graduated.
Yeah.
In 92. It's not bad. But and so I've been finding them whenever I can and reading them. I've got just a bunch of little basically side leaf ones that don't really pertain to the story. They're just kind of like side story stuff that I've just been collecting. Because like, this is the coolest thing ever, and I loved it. And then when they finally made a movie, and it was nothing.
And I can see where the disappointment there comes, because
I mean, Winter Soldier's not hardly even in the comic book. I think he's there. I don't think he says anything in a single panel. And he's the premise of the movies. Without him, there's no Civil War movies.
See, but like, again, because they didn't have like teenage superheroes completely screwing up, they needed some sort of impetus.
But they could have. Like, they still could have just like gotten rid of this whole weird love story and just said,
Weird love story.
Steve and Winter Soldier's weird, almost love story.
Yeah, I don't know if you understand this, because maybe you've never had a friend before. It is possible for two heterosexual males to be like emotionally close without wanting to, put their thing in each other's thing.
Wow. But no, like, I feel like they relied on him really heavily to try to keep the arc alive, and it wasn't necessary. Even in the movie, it's not necessary. They just kind of keep pushing it down our throats. But it's been almost 3 hours, so it's time for us to sign off, essentially.
All right. Well, we've once again come to zero conclusions. We've talked about a lot of things. We've probably upset a lot of people.
And resolved nothing.
Yeah. So I am Laserdisc.
And I am Twitch.
Signing off.